consultation firm that wanted to know why fans were kind of disengaged and upset, and how can and again, it's not going to change any NFL protocol, but I said just maybe try to be a little bit more transparent, especially when situations like this truly matter to the fan base out here that's paying and going in. I thought they've done a really good job of that. I'm not suggesting they're not right now, but that is stuff that is coming across my desktop. That's stuff that's coming across my timeline. And I can just tell you this, from what I was told just, what, don't jump the gun on this. Everything's going to be all right. There's still a long way to go. 40 days until they play? And you'll look back on this. If you do jump the gun, you'll look back on this and think, man, how silly is that? Or somebody will make fun of you. But as much as I hear that, and okay, fine, because that's how I want to be, I also take it from the standpoint of, oh man, or here we go again. And then you hear how Luck described it today, because he went into a little bit more specific detail, and you go, wow, a pull is still pulling on you. It's still painful. After 2.5, 3 months or whatever, it seems like an issue. And make no mistake, it is an issue because he's missing time. You want him out there acclimating these guys as close to what you would normally get on a Sunday in practice as he can, and he has not been able to do that. So I am not telling you how to feel, how to react. Not at all. If you're freaking out over this and you're thinking, oh, here we go again, go ahead. But I will explain to you exactly, in this case, what I was told about it. And, this is more of a luck decision than it is anything else. In the past, I always felt it was a luck decision, but organizationally, they were always hoping to, at times, maybe save him from himself. You don't have to go out there. If your body's talking to you and there's pain working there, you know what? Listen to it and get something done about it. Very hard-headed in the past, and Andrews even explained it that way. But that's what I have been told about it. We'll have this conversation, and it's not going to go away. So if you're tired of it, good luck, because everybody's going to be mentioning it. He is one of the higher-profile players, certainly position-wise in the NFL, on a team that has a lot of expectations. And things, for the first time, right? For the first time in a long time, are not picture perfect and rosy. Everything felt really good. There was nothing going on, and everybody was soaking up exactly what the national media, and then us too, be talking about this team at the level in which the expectation might be, if they can live up to it this year. And now this is, the first bump in the road that we have seen, really going back to that loss in Kansas City back in January. But those are the thoughts for me. That's what I have been told, and certainly we'll bounce different ideas, criticisms, I'm sure, opinions off one another at 239-1070. Meantime, with that in mind, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he's from The Athletic, and he's got some news that may turn out to be some news, may not be some news. Zach Kiefer joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I don't know if you heard on hold what I had to say. I was told that you may not jump to conclusions here because everything is going to be just fine. Now, I hope that's the case, and I believe that's going to be the case, but we've been down this path before where it hasn't been the case. So, where do you begin with this latest Andrew Luck saga? I don't know, part 3, part 4, where are we right now?
Here we go again, right? No. Look, this is not the same thing. It's a different body part, but I do want to start here. The team and Andrew were very they were expecting this to go to plan to start training camp, as in he comes back, the calf's good, they sort of work him in slowly, right? They keep him out of 7-on-7 team drills the first couple of days, then they throw him into 7-on-7, then they throw him into T drills over the first 7 to 15 days of camp, right? So that was the plan, and this is what happened. He's worked his way into 7-on-7, and on Sunday we started to notice he didn't look right. He was missing throws he typically makes in his sleep. He was working through his throwing motion by himself sort of after plays, and that's a little bit odd. He didn't look right. And anybody who's watched this guy play over the last couple of years would have said the same thing. So I was in the back of my mind thinking something's up with him. And so he's just got a little bit of pain in the calf, and it's not just the calf, it's sort of down into his ankle as well. But the biggest point here is this is his decision. This is sort of him driving the train. This is a little bit different. Actually, it's massively different than the first time he really started to play through pain in 15 and 16. He's being the guy that's making the decisions here, and he told Frank Reich and he told Chris Ballard that he wanted to take some time to get this right. He said he wouldn't be able to forgive himself if he has to deal with this type of pain in September or October or November. The plan is to keep him out the next couple of days, see where he's at on the weekend. They've got another batch of practices this weekend. But the biggest thing is he talked about these emotional scars that he learned. And this is what he means by that. He means 16, he played through a lot of pain, and it made it a lot worse. So he said he's never going to do that to himself again. He said he can't be a great quarterback playing with this calf pain. He can be an average quarterback, and he said that's not good enough. So that's where we're at right now. I wouldn't press the panic button. They've got 40 days to the season opener. But this is not a little thing anymore. This is a calf strain that hasn't gone away.
It's Zach Kiefer, The Athletic, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. It used to be explained to me that before Andrew went through this whole emotional scarring and this change in attitude toward injuries, that at times it was better served that organizationally they wanted to try to protect him from himself. Clearly that's changed. And what I mean by that is, you don't have to play through absolutely everything. And when you have pain, tell us you have pain, or, do something about it. Has that been learned in this process? Is that where we are right now? Has he completely 100%, learned that, when your body starts yelling at you, you need to go ahead and listen to it?
Oh, absolutely. And I've learned this through conversations with him and a lot of people in the building that, let's be clear, this is the hardest thing he's ever had to learn in his football career was you can't do everything and you can't play through the pain. He has said about this one particularly, look, I've played through a lot more pain than this, and I think we know what he's talking about. But they're being very, very respectful of his thoughts on this. And Andrew was actually listening to himself this time, and that's what he didn't do. I mean, even in 17, and you know this, he was throwing through so much pain in these practice sessions that he felt like his arm was going to fall off. But he kept going. And part of this is this guilt that he talks about when he's not out there. When he said there's a lot of, expectation when you're the starting quarterback of an NFL team. And when you're not out of practice, even in late July, there's a disappointment with your teammates and the organization and the fans. But he's like, I got to listen to myself. That's the most important thing. And he was pretty open and honest today. And he was accountable, and I'll give him credit for that. Usually when he has an injury or a setback, he doesn't talk. He came out and talked today and explained things to us. But I think the biggest thing is he's driving this train. He is the one deciding I'm not going to practice. And this all stems back to the lessons he learned in 16 and 17.
So Zach Kiefer with us. Is there any second guessing on how initially this entire calf situation was handled going back to May?
Yeah, by me, for starters, and by a couple other people in the media, because we go back to June, and this is mini camp time, and Frank Reich says, if he had a game on Sunday, he'd play, but we're not going to push it. I got it, and that's what the team's thought process was at that point, because the way it was explained to me was this is nothing serious, and he'll be fine and good to go for camp. That was the team's absolute expectation when camp started. They didn't want to ramp him up too fast. That's why they were kind of, he would have a day off. I think it was Saturday. They didn't want to overdo the muscle early, but on Sunday, you could tell in his throwing motion and the way he was moving around that something wasn't right. And so he was going backwards. These are his words. So instead of making it worse and playing through it just to be out here for July 30th, I think he's going to get a week and see if it moves forward. The important thing to note is, these are hypothetical numbers, but I think he's somewhere in like step 4, 5, or 6 in this rehab. And he wants to be 8 or 9 to practice fully. So I think he was sort of moving backwards on that, rehabilitation schedule. And instead of making it worse, he wants to get back. We asked him about week 1, and he didn't bat an eye. He said absolutely. So I don't think we'll see him a lot in the preseason, if at all. Maybe the third game. But first things first, he needs to take some time off, get this cleaned up, get this healed, and then we might see him ramp it up into some full padded practices over the next couple of weeks, but nothing is guaranteed at this point.
Hey, Zach, 2 years ago, this organization kind of suffered in the court of public opinion with their lack of transparency. At this time of year, going into the season, and then ultimately when he was just kind of X'd off the roster and, he moved for a period of time to Europe. That was that. How transparent are they being? Can we expect as far as informationally knowing what we know right now, or being what everybody has been told for the past month and a half or so?
Yeah, the biggest difference is that's a throwing shoulder and this is a calf, so it's not, that was absolutely a season, a career-threatening injury.
It just seems like organizationally they learned from, you got the owner saying one thing and Ballard saying nothing, and nobody was on the same page, and, they had expectations. Those expectations weren't met. And then even if they weren't lying, that everybody thought they were lying. And it seems like that since that point in time, Zach, they've become organizationally not completely transparent, because nobody is, but more transparent. Are they moving away from that? Are they still with that? Is there anything you look into this situation that is comparable?
Yeah, they learned from that. They absolutely did, because they know what it looks like. I mean, you remember this was the last preseason game that year, and we got Jim Irsay after the game, and we asked him, and he said he hoped Andrew would return for week 1 in L.A., and it was the most bizarre, impossible statement to make at that point. We haven't even seen him on a football field the entire camp. They're not going to be doing things like that, because that was a huge mistake, and it probably made them look really, really bad in their fans' eyes. They didn't lie back then, but they didn't handle it well either. Yeah. And the biggest difference this time is Andrew was sort of a ghost that entire preseason. We never saw him. There was one day I finally did see him on the sideline, and I sort of walked by him, and he kind of jokingly ran away to avoid me. I mean, there was just so much secrecy and so much trepidation inside the organization because, one, his shoulder wasn't getting better, and two, they didn't know how to say that to their fans. I think this time is a little bit different. Andrew is taking the step forward to just be open and honest and talk about it. But it's a calf injury. These things linger, and this thing's lingered for 3 months. So how much longer is it going to take?
Yeah, we just saw Derrick Henry come up with a calf injury, and they're calling that, 2 weeks, and it's been a hell of a lot longer for for Andrew Luck, and the guy hasn't played any kind of I don't want to say real live, because the last time he played real live was in Arrowhead in Kansas City back in January, but I mean it's been kind of soft tossing since that point in time. So you hate to see a dude that hasn't played since January miss any time, especially when you have so many expectations on a season and you're trying to work in some new fresh bodies to see how things are going to go offensively for you in 2019.
Yeah, and he said, look, he's treating the walkthroughs like they're practices. He said he's getting on guys like Devin Funchess and Eric Ebron a little bit more in the walkthrough. But look, that's not practice. That's not real life. Asked about, where's the priority playing preseason games for a guy like this who's played 7 years and he's got lots of experience, and he said it's pretty low. So I don't think he's worried about getting preseason snaps. I'm not saying he wouldn't be rusty in LA if he doesn't take any live snaps before the week 1 opener. But, I mean, Frank Reich's been pretty honest about this, and he's like, look, we need to get this cleaned up. This does not need to be something that comes back in September, October, November, heaven forbid, a playoff run, and there's this calf thing still hanging around. So this is the lesson he learned from 2017. If you get this fixed now, you won't have to deal with it then. So this is absolutely get it taken care of 100% so he can play without limitations. And he's played with those limitations a lot of his career, to be frank. And he hates that, and he learned from that. And, he was very honest about that today, and he's deciding this rehabilitation schedule. So if you want to be mad at the Colts for holding out Andrew Luck of practice today, Andrew Luck was the one who decided he wasn't going to practice today.
So if he's not back by Saturday, right? So when might we see him next? When's the hope there?
So the team will practice Wednesday morning, Thursday morning. He will not be out there for those. They're off Friday. Then they have 4 straight practices before taking a day off, going to Buffalo. I think the earliest we see him back would be Saturday. And they'll probably start back to where they started camp, which would be maybe some individual drills, maybe some 7-on-7, but probably no team stuff. It'd be an amazing, really, really good sign if he gets into team drills by the end of next week. I don't know if that'll happen, But he's working. I mean, he's rehabbing. He was lifting this morning. He's doing everything he can day and night to get this calf back to 100%. He's just not on the practice field.
Is there any doubt in your mind that he'll take a preseason snap?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure we see him in the preseason, to be honest. They've already announced that they're really not making this a huge focal point. They don't need him to be out there in the preseason. I think he was going to be scaled back regardless. I don't think he was going to play in the first one, and he's definitely not going to play in the fourth one. Maybe a little bit in the second one, and then maybe a half in that third one. I think we might see him in the third one this time. We might not. So absolutely, I'm not sure we see Andrew Luck in the preseason this year.
Yeah, I saw Julio Jones of the Falcons, and they're mentioning he's not going to play either. It seems like that this is becoming a trend, but I wonder if it's kind of more so a convenient trend. I don't know if they really wanted to see him miss this much time, to be honest with you. So,
no.
Yeah.
No, they didn't, and not with these new offensive weapons. But, I mean, this needs to be mentioned as well. Let's say, maybe worst case, he misses a game or two, and I don't think that'll happen. I think he'll be back. I think he'll be back for the Chargers. You got a really good backup quarterback, and you probably don't want to play a whole season with Jacoby Brissett, obviously, when you have 12 back there. But Jacoby Brissett is one of the best backups in the league, and I think the Colts, if that comes into the discussion, that's why they feel really good about him. That's why they've turned down some trade offers for Jacoby the last couple of years.
Hey, I bet your Twitter timeline is pretty sweet right now, huh?
We were just laughing about that, all of us in here. And I'm getting, Bob Sanders 2.0, here we go, that we pay this guy too much money, he's always hurt.
Yeah.
Football season.
Oh, it's football season, and I smell. Hey, do you smell that? It's the smell of Ben Gay. Holy crap! It is.
I was
it
having
is
flashbacks, man, during the interview today. Man, we're asking, is it a setback? Expectations. I've been doing this for 4 years, man.
Yeah, I get it. That's what I got. Hey, slap a little Ben Gay on that and get going. I'm thinking, well, I think it's a little deeper than that. But I sit
right.
here. I sit here. Hey, Zach, I'm taking advice from somebody that told me, hey, don't jump the gun on this because you'll look back on it and feel silly about it. And I'm trying to abide by that. I really am. But you just, we've been down this path before, and, you kind of learn from experiences. So it's a little bit difficult. So if it's difficult for me, you sure as hell know it's difficult for fans.
Yeah, and I get it. But let's look at the facts. It's a calf. It's not a throwing shoulder. It's lingered for a lot. It's lingered for a lot longer than probably people thought it would. That's for sure. But it's July 30th, and there's 6-7 weeks before the opener, and that's a lot of time. So,
yeah.
I don't think it's time to press the panic button yet. But this is an issue. It is. Period.
Well done. Zach Kiefer's at The Athletic. You can find him there writing about everything. And I think probably right now things are focused on number 12, quarterback of the Colts. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Zach, I appreciate it, my brother. Thank you.
Anytime, man. Thanks.
Zach Kiefer of The Athletic on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. We'll revisit my thoughts coming up. I think Ray Straw is going to join us coming up at the bottom of the hour, the Colts post-game show host. There's really not a great deal to add, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you how you should feel. I want you to feel however you want to feel. I'm just kind of conveying you what I was told earlier today, and believe me, it's tough. It's tough not to climb on it and go, oh, man, here we go again. We'll see. We'll see as of Saturday if he's back out there and maybe gets back going and this kind of wipe. Hell, if it's been 3 months, though, or 2.5 months, it seems like it'd be a little difficult for Saturday to be a target. But we'll see. All right. You feel how you want to feel. We got tickets for you. Alice in Chains, Korn a little bit later on, Not Fest a little bit later on, and a whole lot more for you. The latest from Colts camp, Greg Rakestraw, and your calls at 239-1070 on how you really feel. Next.
Sports with Dan Dockage.
Matt Taylor joins us. Matt's the voice of the Colts. This could be a much improved team, but damn, who you play, particularly the quarterbacks.
The Colts have to play 5 of the top 6 quarterbacks from a year ago. The Colts defense took a huge step last year. That defense is legit. What they're doing is backed up considering who they have to play.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
At 1 Hour, we stand behind our work, and I mean for years. Hi, I'm Corey Kreitzberger from 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. If our repair fails in the first 2 years, we'll fix it again for free. Who else can say that? We gladly guarantee our repairs because we know the care that goes into them. Call us at 844-1-HOUR. That's 844-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-HOUR.
Terms and conditions apply. License number H0010668.
For the extraordinary Hoosiers who grow our food, feed our minds, make us safe, and keep us free. An extraordinary celebration. Your Indiana State Fair salutes heroes in the heartland with a party of heroic proportions featuring fantasy superheroes and Hoosier homegrown real ones. Heroes in the Heartland, presented by Indiana Donor Network. Your Indiana State Fair, August 2nd through 18th.
In 1977, in Johannesburg, South Africa, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. By the age of 9, he was already outplaying him. The odds of that same boy then making it to the US and European Pro Golf Tours? 1 in 7 million. The odds of the Big Easy winning the Open Championship once and the US Open Championship twice? 1 in 780 million. The odds of this professional golfer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. Ernie Els encourages you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Having ED issues? Locally owned Men's Health Solutions has a $75 initial appointment fee that includes a test dose of medication and sample meds. menshealthsolutions.us.
Wouldn't you like to have a nice, relaxing camping trip about now? Well, it's not that kind of camping trip. The Colts 2019 season starts in Westfield as the players move in for training camp. Let's go! And the Fan has you covered. Daily updates on air and online. The road to the Super Bowl begins in the long, hot summer. Run down the field on them! Colts training camp on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. Sports with Dan Dockett.
Matt McAfee joins. All right, what would happen first? I go to Coach Nights for dinner, or you go hang out with Ryan Grigson, have dinner and drinks. Would you ever do that?
I think I've gotten to a stage in my life where kind of like bygones be bygones. I would enjoy having a drink with Ryan Grigson, I believe, so we could chit-chat about some misunderstandings, mostly on his side. I think it would be a cool conversation.
Dan Dockett, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Hey, my buddy, Swanson, full steam ahead, over there. I want to go over there. Move over, Swanson, I'm driving.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Kyle's on the other side. I'm John. Thank you for joining us. Of course, big news of the day. We're talking about Andrew Luck. And I told you a little bit earlier exactly what I've been told is going down. We'll revisit that coming up in a couple of minutes, and I'm trying as hard as I can to sit here and not really go overboard, because I've been told, again, as I mentioned earlier, not to go overboard on the subject. But again, you got a guy that's missing time, the most important piece that's missing time, and it kind of smells as a couple of years ago, so people are going to freak, especially the fan base. And on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline right now, he is the Colts post-game show host on the radio network. Greg Rakestraw joins us. So I told this a little bit earlier. I'm trying to really dial back, or at least I've been told, hey, maybe just chill out on all the criticism because you're not going to remember this once the regular season gets underway. That's what I've been told. The fans aren't going to be that way. How are is with the latest on Andrew Luck?
I think my quota on Andrew Luck injury concern is so spent from 2015, 2016, 2017, early in 2018 before the season started, that it's impossible for me to get into full freak out mode about it. I don't like the fact that he is going to be sitting this week, but again, I'd rather you get it taken care of now and hope to see him back out there next week or the week after. No, there's only a couple of practices next week before they get
kind of ramp back up into getting ready for Buffalo next Thursday, a game that he's not going to play in. And Frank Reich told us this morning that he was going to play in that game anyway. That fully healthy, he was going to play a little bit in week 2, a little bit in week 3, and then obviously not in week number 4. So it's not a good thing that he's not playing, but I, like you, am trying to keep a level head about it, knowing we are still 5 weeks away from the start of the regular season.
He's from the Colts Radio Network, the post-game show host, Greg Rakestraw, is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, and that's kind of how it was explained to me. He said, hey, you may not want to take the freak-out mode path here because – and we'll see where that goes, but it's tough to – with what has transpired and because this has been such an ongoing issue, Greg, and – the fact remains that we really haven't seen Andrew Luck do anything at speed since Arrowhead in January. It's tough. It's tough not to just completely let it roll off your back, if you know what I mean.
I understand, but given how seemingly slow and agonizing the process was last year, at least up until the regular season started in terms of off-season activities. Then, in preseason, he missed a little time, but not a lot. He's going to miss more time this preseason in terms of training camp than he did last season. Given how that played out, to me, he somewhat earned the benefit of the doubt. And that clearly he is the one kind of steering the ship and saying, hey, this is still not feeling right. Let's sit down and let's figure this out. He did say, hey, I played through more pain than I'm dealing with right now. So I think he is taking somewhat of that veteran's luxury status of saying, I get more out of just getting off of my feet and not trying to extend this and saving myself for later in preseason or the regular season. I'll get more out of that than the reps I would get during the course of this week worth of practice, these next 3 practice sessions. To me, he's earned the right to be able to say, hey, I know my body, and because of the faith that he had in that last year, it led to a fantastic season for him and the team.
And we also should note here, and this has been a concern for the organization, at least as explained to me, this is a nuance that is still fresh in his mind because it's been explained to me here and now and in the past that especially now, they try to, decision-making wise, and this is not their words, this is me kind of paraphrasing it so everybody can understand. Sometimes you got to protect, the guy from the guy, in this case, from going out there and doing stuff you shouldn't be doing at a time when you shouldn't be doing it to make matters worse. That's something that I think Andrew came into a complete understanding of 2 years ago. And it's something that I think that organizationally they still try to abide by, and I think it's the smart move, honestly.
Well, the thing is that, again, having gone through missing that entire season, I now think he and the team are both going to err on the side of caution anytime it's not a regular season week. And, again, the gist that I got from both hearing him talk as well as Frank Reich talk today was that if he felt the exact same way and this were a regular season week, he would be playing. But since it's not, give him the week off, let him rest up, and see if that will help this situation out.
He's Greg Rakestraw, Colts postgame show host. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. We may jump back to this in a second with a couple of questions. You think there's any way in these games, because clearly we're not going to see much of luck, and who knows what might happen in games 2 or 3. Think there's any way that Chad Kelly could ultimately, in everybody's eyes, maybe outplay Jacoby Brissett? Because he has been talked about a little bit. I don't know if it matters. I don't know how much time he's going to end up getting, but he may end up getting enough, Greg, to where he can show a bit of something, if not here, someplace else.
Right. He could get more time this preseason, but I don't think he's in competition with Jacoby Brissett. Luck obviously is your 1. Brissett is your 2. I really think for Chad Kelly what it comes down to is this team is going to keep potentially a third quarterback on the roster if they don't think Luck's cap situation is fully healed by week 1. Now you're talking about a third quarterback, and that's where Kelly or Phillip Walker come into play. But I'm sure going into preseason, the debate was, okay, do we think is Kelly a guy that we can sneak onto our practice squad, which is where most teams stash their third quarterback, and then it is, all right, feeling you're going to lose Jacoby Brissett at the end of this season. that he is going to take a deal where he has a chance to be a starter someplace else, because that's not going to happen here, then is Chad Kelly good enough to be your backup next year and no having a year in the system to kind of learn it, et cetera. So I still think that Chad Kelly isn't battling Jacoby Brissett for anything. He's battling Walker for a spot. But, again, now is he going to get more reps? It could be. And, again, if this calf injury extends on to where they just want to have a third quarterback on the active roster, then maybe that's a conversation that he could be a part of, making the 53-man roster out of camp.
All right, Greg, you've been up there. What else in these days of practice that you have witnessed so far stands out about this team and maybe a player or two that you have watched?
You know, from a standpoint of you can't really get anything in terms of the pass rush just because you're not allowed to hit guys. And what I have seen has really only been one fully padded session. So you can somewhat extrapolate how things are going to work out from a passing game standpoint, how the defensive backs are looking. You know, it's 7-on-7 is the thing that probably translates more so than, say, 11-on-11. I like what I've seen from the cornerback position. You know, they have won their fair share of battles in terms of one-on-ones, in terms of 7v7s, in terms of what they have done from an 11v11 standpoint. You know, a couple of days ago on Sunday, Rock Yassin had a couple of interceptions. Both of those were on tip balls. You know, Nate Harrison's a guy that I think is probably fighting for a roster spot. He made a couple of good plays on Sunday from what I saw. Overall, I think the defense has had kind of the better of the offense. Not every play, but enough where it's caught your attention. The other thing that I would say is this, is that I think we all kind of went into, you know, the beginning of camp thinking, hey, Chester Rogers might be in a fight for the fifth wide receiver position. I'm not sure that's the case. Now, today, Paris Campbell didn't practice because he had a slight hamstring issue at the tail end of practice on Sunday, but he was in there getting reps with the ones, in part because I think he was spelling Campbell's spot. I think Deion Kane has certainly looked good, but I think he's more of a fourth or fifth wide receiver right now, as clearly T.Y.'s the one, Funchess is the two. Campbell's probably the three, but maybe it's more of a better shot of Chester being on this roster than maybe we had given him going into camp. So, you know, there are very few position battles, it seems, because this team is so much deeper. But one of the areas we thought might be a position battle was wide receiver. I'm not sure that's the case. I kind of think I can tell you who the five are going to be right now.
Greg Rakestraw's with us. Hey, before I let you go, I know we're getting closer and closer to the start of the high school football season, and you've got a whole new wrinkle going on with your coverage as well. Talk a little bit about that and some of the interesting storylines we'll be talking about here, certainly in central Indiana, if not across the state in a couple of weeks.
Well, thank you for the plug. This is a conference I know very well because I see them in state championship games, because I had the pleasure of doing something similar to this a few years ago in the old days of HCSN. But I'm going to be doing a Mick Game of the Week as part of a partnership between the day job with the ISC Sports Network, Comcast 81, but now My Indy TV 23. WNDY has come on board with this as well. So, for example, season opener for me will be Center Grove and Warren Central in week number 1. In fact, I know what my schedule is for the first 4 weeks, and then we will go into kind of major college mode and pick the top matchups each week a couple of weeks out. So week 2 is going to be Lafayette Jeff at Lawrence Central. Week 3 is going to be Center Grove at Carmel, and we made the announcement, or didn't make the announcement because I'm making it today, made the decision today that week number 4 is going to be Lawrence North at North Central. So every week you can see games on the ISC Sports Network if you're a Comcast subscriber, on Comcast Local 81, but also on My Indy TV 23 every Friday night during the regular season and during the postseason as well. So I will be focusing my attention on Friday nights on 8 of the best football teams in the state of Indiana.
One final quick thing about that, and I'm not leaving Carmel out for any reason because they get to respect, because I was just thinking about it here. What will Warren look like without David Bell moving forward? And then what does Eric Moore's team look like? Because we're talking about week 1 here with Carson Steele a year older.
Correct. I think the 2 best teams in terms of players returning will be Carmel and Center Grove, and probably in that order. So looking forward to seeing those guys in week number 3. Carmel probably has more returning talent in the mix than does anybody else. I would slot Center Grove behind them, and obviously Carson Steele is a big factor in that. Warren Central, maybe not from a sheer number standpoint, but to some degree similar to Ben Davis the year before them, where they were clearly the best team in that conference. Now, injuries kind of brought them back to the pack. I say that, and they were still state champions and swept their way through the conference. But the gap from Warren Central, everybody else, at least during the postseason up until the state championship game, wasn't as substantial as, say, Ben Davis's was the year before. But they graduate a lot. And obviously, David Bell is a part of that, but also their quarterback in George, Romir Elliott, a fantastic running back. And maybe they didn't have the same level of recruiting interest, but defensively, they had a lot of really good seniors on that team as well. So, with Jason Westel at Warren Central, they're not going to be a bad team, far from it, but they do have to replace a lot of talent and a lot of experience on both sides of the ball. So early impressions would be, my depth chart in the league would be Carmel 1, Center Grove 2, and then it's kind of a fight for third amongst a variety of teams.
He is Greg Rakestraw. He'll be all over the Mick coming up this football season on TV for you. And the new deal that he talked about features My Indy TV 23, which I think is fantastic for you, my brother. I really do. Keep us updated and all the updates coming from camp, and we'll catch up a little bit later on this week, man. Thank you.
Anytime, bud.
It's Greg Rakestraw on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. Of course, you know the news today. It's all about Andrew Luck so far. If you missed any of my thoughts, I'll double back and explain exactly what I had to say about this situation and what I was told about this situation. We've got a little freak out going on, but we've been down this path before, have we not? And it's clearly not ended well before, right? I'll give you my thoughts, revisit what I had to say, what I was told, and a lot more with you. Other side next. Sit tight.
Sports with Dan Dockage.
Pat McAfee, congratulations. Thursday night, as I said, just got better on ESPN.
I was planning on going back to the NFL all the way up until a couple of weeks ago, and my knee just started ballooning up. And it was a nice moment of closure for me where this Thursday night football thing is just the tip of the iceberg. I am pumped and excited about it, and I can't wait to get in the booth, and I'm very grateful for ESPN allowing me the opportunity to do so.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122, or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
John here for the Four Winds Lakeside Anna Marina. I'm trying to get you down there and squeeze one final vacation out of what's left of, at least the summertime before the kids head back to school. We're going to call this a 3-night Sunday through Thursday staycation right in our backyard down at Lake Monroe at the Four Winds Lakeside Anna Marina for just $199. $199 for a garden double room. Now, you can upgrade for a lakeside view for $99 more, and they have everything that you want down there. They have the indoor-outdoor pool, mini golf, boat rental, hiking trails. The Windjammer Bar and Grill is outstanding. You got music there on Friday and Saturday nights as well if you ever go down there, just beyond this deal itself. But it's just a fantastic destination, a great location, and get in that final staycation with the Four Winds Lakeside Anna Marina. 812-824-BOAT, 812-824-2628, or online, fourwindslakeside.com right now.
In 1977, in Johannesburg, South Africa, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. By the age of 9, he was already outplaying him. The odds of that same boy then making it to the US and European Pro Golf Tours? 1 in 7 million. The odds of the Big Easy winning the Open Championship once and the US Open Championship twice? 1 in 780 million. The odds of this professional golfer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. Ernie Els encourages you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hoosier fans, Indiana football tickets are on sale now for the 2019 season. IU football hosts 6 home games this fall, including matchups against Big Ten East rivals, the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines. Fans can purchase single-game tickets as low as $20 and $200 for season tickets. For complete ticket information, visit IUHoosiers.com today. Go IU!
For years, the golfers of Hamilton County and Central Indiana have enjoyed Carmel's only city-owned public course, Brookshire Golf Club. If you haven't played at Brookshire lately, it's time you give it another look. The beautiful new clubhouse and pro shop are now open. The Brookshire Clubhouse features a beautiful event space for meetings, weddings, and other special gatherings, and the pro shop and cafe is a must-see. Season passes at Brookshire are available now, starting at just $1,000 for an executive pass. Brookshire Golf Club, Carmel. Book your tee time today.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Look at all those ding-dongs.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Rankstraw, Zach Kiefer, get you updated on the latest Lux stuff. You know, it's too much of a lob. It's too easy just to say, hey, what do you think? Is there something really, really wrong, or is there not? We'll jump back into that conversation coming up in a minute. Ben Banigou is scheduled to join us, the rookie for the Colts, a second-round selection coming up a little bit later on in the show. And final hour, Darius Rucker, the lead singer of Hootie and the Blowfish. Hootie and the Blowfish, August the 17th, Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. To celebrate 25 years since the release of Cracked Rearview, Darius Rucker, who, by the way, is a tremendously large fan, and a fan of the Dolphins, in which he's been here before to watch the Dolphins and the Colts, and Reds fans. He's a fan of our Cincinnati Reds. And we'll see what they do, if anything at all, prior to the trade deadline coming up tomorrow. All right, thoughts right now on the whole Lux saga and where this thing might go. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I completely understand who you are right now because you've been down this path before. And it was just so botched the way that it was handled 2 years ago that at the very least, I'm glad that they sent Luck out there to speak on his own behalf today. Because if you remember, and as Zach mentioned earlier in the show, he was kind of like a ghost back then. And again, as I was told, hey, no sweat. You don't need to freak out. Everything's going to be okay. But I agree with you. I mean, as a fan, especially as somebody that's been through this before, it's tough not to. It's tough to wonder, why does it take this long to get over this situation? How might this linger? What's going to happen once he does get back? So we're all kind of at least putting a dart on the dartboard of Saturday if he's going to get back on Saturday. And you know, Tuesday through Saturday, all of a sudden is some miracle amount of time. That's just kind of where I sit right now. And listen, I completely understand. Completely understand how you feel about it right now. The other aspect of it is the guy hasn't played, really done anything competitively or, game speed since the last game, certainly at Arrowhead, but, nothing other than kind of soft tossing, at least what we've seen. So if you're wondering, yeah, you're not the only one there, but that's going to share with you what I was told a little bit earlier on the approach here, and we shall see. All right, at JMV1070 on Twitter, JMV at 1070thefan.com is the email address. Got to thank both Zach Kiefer and Greg Rakestraw for joining us at the top of the show. I mentioned Ben Banigou of the Colts scheduled to join us, I think, coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. We shall see. And Darius Rucker coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We got stuff to give away. A lot more for you. Got a lot of emails. I'm sure you guys are going to bring the luck conversation. We've wondered, too, where was the significant bump in the road going to be, at least as far as media coverage is concerned and news is concerned. This is one that nobody wanted to hear. You want to see him out there and everybody feeling good, but that is not the case right now. Now, 2 years ago, he wouldn't have gone out there. At least this time he went out there, and, he's not speaking in hypotheticals. I will give this up, because everybody always gets on folks around here the way they ask questions. But Stephen Holder did a good job at, Luck doesn't ever want to, and having had him on the show basically every year, he doesn't want to deal on hypotheticals. And, Stephen kind of stayed after okay, well, tell us this, is this how bad is this pain compared to what you played with in the past? Now, the dude has played with significant pain. And in the past, he has been his own worst enemy. He goes out there and, I'm not going to get into surgery. I'm just going to try to play through the pain. That didn't work. See, Florida John writes this: if Luck is no better after 3 months rest, what difference will 5 days make? I kind of wonder that too. I'm telling you what I'm told, and I'm trying to I'm like sticking to my own process right here, right? That's the buzz term, the cliche. Well, I just know I got to stick to the process. I'm sticking to the process too. I'm sticking to my process, which is not to lose it before it's time to lose it. Let's stick to the process. From Brett Young. Hey, JMV, I'm heading down to the Four Winds tomorrow with the family for a few days. Thanks for the idea. I tell you what, Brett, when you get down there, ask for Tony and tell Tony thank you from me. I love you guys going and enjoying. Torrance writes this: the Colts have already shown a propensity to lie in regards to Luck injuries. Why should we trust them now? I've explained in the past, and you can believe what you want. There was no out-and-out way that they tried to lie. They didn't try to lie 2 years ago. They just botched the handling. At that time, Ballard had one way he wanted to handle it, and the owner had another, and those were the expectations, and those expectations weren't met, and Luck was a ghost, and you never saw him, and basically the next time you saw him, he was getting ready to leave for Europe. It was botched 2 years ago, and I will give them credit. They've tried to be more transparent. I don't think it's so much right now with how they're handling the information. And back then it was bad. They're going two different ways. And again, expectations weren't met. They've gone over all this too. But those are the kind of things that make you look bad. This has, again, for those out there that feel that you were lied to 2 years ago, there's an opportunity there if this doesn't turn out to be right, that you feel the same way. Again, I remember a couple of years ago when asked, and certainly I don't have some magic formula. I don't ever tell you that I do, but when asked about it, I said, I know that in NFL you don't do that, and I don't think that anybody out there believes they're ever going to tell you, most of what is the truth or let you in on everything, but be as open as you can. And certainly try to be going in the same direction. What do they say all the time, that cliche, pushing in the same direction? 2 years ago, they were all over the map. And that didn't go well. Neil is at 239-1070. Hello, Neil. How are you?
Doing well. How are you, sir?
Great. Go ahead.
Huge fan. Second time I've ever called. I didn't mention how much I'm a huge fan of the show. But thanks for having me. I wanted to talk a little bit about Luck. I do think that he's going to be fine for the season. I do think they're being more transparent, much like you said. I think that a couple years ago when he was injured, they were trying to keep the sales up, obviously. Not only that, but he didn't have an offensive line. So I feel like they were trying to bolster the I feel like they were trying to bolster his condition, even though he wasn't really in great shape.
Yeah, they thought he was going to come back 2 years ago, and so did he. And he just never, when he said today, he didn't meet whatever step he was supposed to meet today. That's kind of how it went a year ago, or 2 years ago, I should say. And that's what happens. I mean, they handled it badly, and they recognized they handled that badly. I mean, if it were 2 years ago, they probably wouldn't have trotted him out there today to answer questions as he did. But I don't begrudge anybody if you feel as if, this is kind of a similar situation, because it does feel like it. I can just tell you that from what I was told today, that everybody says kind of chill out on a little bit. We shall see. And much like you, I don't dig the fact that he's missing a lot of practice time either, much like everybody else. But I'm trying to keep a level head on this. I'm sticking to my process, as I told you last week. So.
Understood. If you have another second, I just wanted to give a shout out to all the people that were down on him, saying that he had too many turnovers and he was just a bad quarterback, a couple of years ago, when he was a great quarterback and just didn't have that offensive line. That's really all I need to say.
Neil, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. My man, he is he's had some injuries though. And they're magnified when you're at that position and you're him. Like people are saying, man, Bob Sanders is injured all the time. It's like Bob Sanders stuff. He's been injured all, and part of it is he was injured for an entire season, missed an entire season. So, yeah, listen, I feel where you are. I do. And it's hard for me not to think that way till I go, what? This can't be good. Nah, it's going to be all right. All right. Well, I mean, that's what happened 2 years ago, and it didn't turn out to be all right. So, JMV, this is from Josh. What's up with the Colts medical staff? Hashtag they lousy. Listen, I don't know that at all, Josh, to be the case, man. I don't. I know that some people are throwing out those stories, those criticisms. I don't know. It does seem like, there's been a laundry list of things that happened to the Colts, and it kind of seems like, I don't know. It's tough for me to take that path. I know a lot of you have, and I know not a lot of you will, but it's tough for me to do that. I don't know. I don't know what's going on the inside as far as medical is concerned. I don't know who's doing what and who's not doing right. I just know that, last year and the year before last, in the past, there have seemed like that there have been a number of injuries. But, yeah, I'll let you do that, Josh, because I'm not the guy to do that because I simply don't know. I'll convey to you the stuff that I've been told from people there and hopefully either reassure you. And it's not trying to I'm just telling you what they're telling me. But as far as that's concerned, that aspect, I don't know. I'm assuming that everybody only hires and works with the best, because that's what you want out of your team and your organization. Quick one, we'll come back. Ben Banigou going to join us, I think, in the 4 o'clock hour. That's what I believe. He is the rookie from TCU. They drafted him in round 2. And Darius Rucker of Hootie the Blowfish in the 5 o'clock hour. Back with you next.
Sports with Dan Dockage.
Pat McAfee, congratulations. Thursday night, as I said, just got better on ESPN.
I was planning on going back to the NFL all the way up until a couple of weeks ago, and my knee just started balloon up. And it was a nice moment of closure for me where this Thursday night football thing is just the tip of the iceberg. I am pumped and excited about it, and I can't wait to get in the booth, and I'm very grateful for ESPN allowing me the opportunity to do so.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Protect your wealth with a custom-made retirement plan from Crown Haven Wealth Advisors by calling 844-896-7233 and online at crownhaven.com.
Do you have Medicare and Indiana Medicaid? With Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, you could be getting so much more. Anthem may provide up to $2,000 towards dental, $0 copays on many prescriptions, and up to $1,320 for over-the-counter healthcare items. Get more out of your Medicare and Medicaid coverage. Switch today. Call 866-649-8826. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is an HMO special needs plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield depends on contract renewal.
The following commercial is sponsored by FeedThePig.org, an organization devoted to helping you save money. We will not entice you with messages like
Lowest prices in town. Dealer approved, certified pre-owned.
No obligation consultation.
nor will we brag about our
Huge selection. Enormous variety.
One-stop shopping.
Everything under one roof.
or promise.
Prices reduced up to 75%.
A sale like this can't go on forever. Factory liquidation.
Financing options available.
We will offer no contingencies like
See store for details.
Prices and participation may vary.
Legal exclusions apply.
No purchase necessary.
or try to convince you that our product will give you
Leaner, tighter abs in minutes.
Perfect smile. Porcelain veneers.
Freedom from those painful, embarrassing bunions.
because we simply want to help you spend smarter and save better. Log on to feedthepig.org. Find the benefits of saving for every stage of life. Brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Abra Auto Body Repair of America, the name you've come to know and trust for expert collision repair for over 30 years, is now Caliber Collision. A name that is also well known for getting people back on the road quickly and safely, and, in turn, restoring the rhythm of your life. Now you can get world-class collision repair backed by a national lifetime warranty at over 1,000 locations. A new name, great people, and the same high standards in customer service. Abra is now Caliber Collision.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC HD2, W298BV, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Red Sox, Yankees, Sunday night baseball. The coverage begins at 6 on FM 107.5, The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Wow. I don't know what to say. I guess the only thing I can say is I'll promise to keep rocking and rolling and making better films.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Hour one in the books. Zach Kiefer, Rakestraw Podcast. 1075thefan.com if you want to go there for that. Ben Banigou in the 5 o'clock hour. The rookie, 5:15. Darius Rucker of Hootie and the Blowfish after that, all coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. JMV at 1070thefan.com. Guess I'm going to have to change that too sometime, right? JMV, how many people either researched for a hammer to mash the panic button or their Evan Williams bourbon when they heard the news about Andrew Luck? Everybody. And I don't blame everybody. Listen, I do not blame you. I don't blame folks around here. I don't blame media folks around here. I don't blame anybody because you've been down that path. Like, as I mentioned earlier, I'm caught kind of in between as far as, I want to stick to my process of not freaking out 40 days away, but at the same time, it is tough for it not to reek of the past, and I don't blame you. I do not blame you at all. But that's where I'm going to stick until further notice. If you can't, and there's a reason why, that's why we have phones at 239-1070, so you can shout it. So you can talk it up, or you can comfort those that don't feel the same as you. It's up to you. But as I mentioned in hour one, from what I was told earlier, hey, don't be one of those folks to freak out because it's going to be okay, and you'll look back at this 40 days or so from now and go, man, I sounded stupid, which, it's kind of par for the course for me, so it doesn't matter. I often do that. I'll look 40 days prior and go, good Lord, what kind of dumbass are you? On all levels. It's just not this one either. Every level. Wait a minute. What did I say? I said Andrew Luck, they should draft him and keep Manning, and Luck should back him up. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. What a great take that is. JMV, and maybe I'm a pessimist here, but I'm going to call it right now. Andrew Luck will not be the week 1 starter for the Colts. Calf strains don't take 3 months to heal. It's Casey in Ellettsville. Yeah, that is a pessimistic viewpoint right there. I mean, if that takes 40 days, good Lord. I'm just talking about you going to be able to get back out there on Saturday at some point. I just hate it. I hate what he talked about as far as throwing and having a pull down there around the calf and the ankle area. That's what fat guys that still try to play that are near 50 like me get. I hate to hear that out of the one dog at quarterback here. I hate to hear that. Don't want anything pulling. So, Casey, thank you for that. JMV, best case, this is setting up for a slow start to the season again. No home field to be had like that. Man, we are looking negatively right now at it. Sticking with my process, friends. I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm not saying it's not a negative, but that's the first major bump in this offseason. Well, now in season, but off-season certainly. I will say this. I do believe that this is something, you saw this with Julio Jones a little bit earlier, right? The Falcons, their wide receiver, he's not going to play. Not going to play in the preseason. And it's, to me, it's unnecessary. But you would like to do something practice-wise because you haven't done anything since January at Arrowhead. And on that day, there wasn't anything but bad done anyway. So I do get that. I don't care if the guys play. I don't care if major guys, major assets, guys they're counted on, don't get any time in the preseason. And I think Schefter's the one that tweeted that a little bit earlier. That is kind of the way that the NFL is going right now. But at the same time, at least be able to get out there at some point, hopefully, and do more than just soft toss it. That's what's concerning. I hated to hear about some pull. I don't need any pulls in your lower ankle. Andrew Bailey writes this. Hey, JMV, are you going to hop into the layup line at your daughter's next basketball game? Yeah. And you know what? People will point the finger and say, what is that jackass doing? Just like they should have done with LeBron James. I don't care if he is LeBron James. You know, I don't care if I'm not going to go out there and dunk it or anything, but I can give you some spectacular up and under layups on the layup line if you want me to. Little change of hands. But no, as I mentioned yesterday, it's the same as any other dad would get ridiculed over if that dad were to do that. Just so happen we're talking about LeBron James. Getting in the layup line, I mean, the guy was a hovercraft father mess all over the floor, losing his shoe, trying to bump chest with players on the floor as a mess. Any other father would get widely ridiculed. Here's the other thing, too. Somebody tweeted, and I can't remember who it was yesterday, but I think I've kind of had it with the covering your mouth stuff. You know, like everybody, especially like LeBron James, the NBA guys cover their mouth, right, when they're talking about their score. I'll be honest with you right now. I don't care what you're saying in an AAU game. I don't want to see that anymore. Stop covering your mouth. I mean, it's like a damn scene from Goodfellas. NFL sideline. I'm going to cover my mouth with my card. At least I get it there. But I don't really care what you have to say while you're in an AAU game. You don't need to cover your mouth. Thank you, Andrew. That was great. Yeah, I think I'm just going to roll out there and get the layup line and do some sweet-looking 50-year-old up and under, change of hand, right to left, layup. Can you imagine? What's this guy's problem? What a clown. That's exactly what's going to happen right there. Hey, JMV, I think the strategy is to tame expectations a little bit. I will not agree with that, John Martin. I think this is a strategy. I do think it's that. I do think it's that with Luck. And I think it's something learned over time of battling with injuries and then trying to get through it and trying to get through the pain and deal with it only to have it hurt him on the other side. I do think it's a strategy, but not that one. Yeah, I don't think they're trying to manage expectations by that, because all that strategy, if it's like that to manage expectations, just like everybody craps their pants. I don't buy that one. I do think that it's a strategy among a lot of NFL teams and players, as I mentioned now, just, to practice, but not to be a part of the preseason. And I don't blame them. I don't blame it any longer. I mean, we all know that it's basically worthless. Seriously, that first preseason game, everybody is jacked up. What, a week from Thursday we're going to be jacked up? Buffalo, a week from Thursday. I'm going to be in here doing a little pregame, right? We're going to be jacked up. Here comes football. It's back. And literally after, well, hell, now probably without luck, it won't even matter. But after you've seen a play or two, you're over it. You're ready to move on to the regular season when it really matters. The other thing that concerns me about this entire Luck deal is, all right, how much practice time do you miss if he can't? If he does miss more than just the rest of this week, if it's beyond Saturday, for example, you got to get with these dudes here. You want to be able to acclimate to these guys. If you remember last week, we were talking to Paris Campbell, and he basically gave us a description of the first pass that he caught from Andrew Luck. And it's got to be more than just this whole soft toss line here. Hey, John Martin continues here. Every news report has been so positive, and conveniently 2 days ago, owner Jim Irsay compares the team to Peyton, Marvin, Edgerrin, Reggie. Today's news is just to make people pump the brakes a bit. What do you think? Yeah. No, see, the wild card is Jim. All right, Jim is going to be Jim, and that's exactly what Jim believes, and those are the Jim expectations. Just like 2 years ago when Jim said stuff and that wasn't a part of Ballard's plan, but he's the owner. What are you going to do? You can't tell him to be quiet. I guess you can. Shh, hold on a minute. How we're handling this is just really not saying anything about it. When he's back out there, we'll talk it up. But that's his real thought right there. And listen, I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. But 2 years ago, that kind of led to a lot of the confusion, and then ultimately you had the fan base kind of turn on the organization for how that it was handled. But yeah, I don't think it is to squash any of the expectations. I think they're fully, and Chris Ballard, I think, said this at the beginning of camp. I think they're taking head on here the expectations that clowns like me have placed on them. At least that's what he mentioned. JMV. Hey, another thing I experienced during the 9 and Under baseball tournament, the team with 6 dad coaches with their hats all turned backwards were playing walk-up music from a large speaker for each kid. One time had to quickly stop when a song dropped some F-bombs. This is the new norm? I didn't know they were rolling the walk-up music. I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't want to hear kids, in 9 and Under games. I don't want parents yelling "miss it" on a fly ball pop-up to some kid. You don't need that. I think we all should be on the same page as that, even if you're just a nut. Yeah, at some point, that's probably going to be your kid. So you don't want that. We can get rid of it. The walk-up music, though, is kind of weird. But that is the era of entertainment and having fun with the kids. I don't mind that part, I guess. I guess minus the F-bombs. They weren't playing like Kids Bop or anything like that. It's walk-up, I guess. And this is from Brian Hare. Hey, let's chill on Luck. Why risk anything? He doesn't need reps. He needs health. Well, I will say this. I think, Brian, he's going to need reps. I think his teammates need reps with him, especially the teammates that are new, because you've got first month of the season, and it's going to be difficult. The entire schedule is difficult, but I think he needs reps. He needs reps with his teammates, and there's no doubt he needs health. It does surprise me a little bit. It surprises me that this has been described more of a luck call than anybody else. That is the part that surprises me. And plus, it has gone on too long, and it just makes you think, all right, what is really going on? Why is it taking this long? I mean, if it was during workouts or whatever, what the hell was going on there? But 3 months. And believe me, the last thing this organization wants, they don't want your fan base. They don't want you guys thinking that you're not being upfront with them on anything. And again, you're smart enough to know that in the NFL, they're not going to give you all the information. That is never going to happen. But at least a little bit of transparency is necessary. They realized that 2 years ago. I don't think that. I think they value that now. Because it was a long time coming after what took place 2 years ago. JMV, LeBron nonsense. Dads on other teams should go out and do layups too. When LeBron looks down, talk to each other, and their mouths covered. Yeah. I'm going to go out there and cover my mouth. What the hell are you talking about? That is so true. Hey, JMV, trade deadline is coming up. What are your Redlegs going to do? And by the way, I saw them get another win last night. I did too. They had a 10-run inning, everybody. You know, it's funny. You look back at my Reds, and had they not had just the enormous stumble post All-Star break, I think they had one versus Cleveland going in, and then that St. Louis series at home was a disaster. They gave up a 10-run inning of their own. But minus that, and then minus the month and a half to start the season where they couldn't hit a lick, I feel bad because this team in the Central has left a lot on the table. I'm sorry, they should not be an under 500 team right now. Listen, I can sit here and tell you that I want to see them go for it, but they have not been consistent enough for me to think that is a great idea. I'd love to see it because there's been little to nothing to cheer for them forever. I'd like to see some meaningful type of going for it baseball. You got to climb over 19 different damn teams, too. This is going to be difficult. Trade deadline's on Wednesday. Well, they got Pittsburgh later on tonight. And I think Atlanta coming up this weekend down there, which should be difficult. So we'll talk. Darius Rucker's going to join us. Darius Rucker's a huge Reds fan, if you didn't know that. So we'll talk up some Reds with him. Hey, JMV, you sound like Nolan Hinkey, professional golfer, the power of negative thinking. Yeah, I'm not trying to supply anybody with negative power. I just want you to believe. I'm not trying to convince you what to believe. I'm just telling you what I believe and what I was told. And let that be that. And we'll see what turns out to be right. We'll see if I can look back like for once and go, hey, yeah, you know what? That was a really nice stance you took 40 days ago. And then everybody at that time so excited about the season, they don't care any longer. I saw C.J. McCollum got 3 years and $100 million. Kyle and I were talking about this earlier. That seems like a pretty good deal. He's a good player. I don't know if they're ever going to completely get to where they need to go. At least they won a series. So that part is good in the postseason. This is from Clint. Have you talked about McAfee saying that he was going to sign with the Bears, but his knee? Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know. There was going to be a competition. And I don't know if he wanted to be a part of a competition, but he wanted to kick for them. And let's face it, they had like 19 different dudes in there. So and I still think he probably would like to have that challenge. He wanted the challenge of coming back. And, I think the Bears folks came down here to watch him. Somebody did. But he wanted the challenge of coming back. And then kind of realized I think the end result was the whole knee issue kind of kept him from really, really going for it, but he wanted to. And now, obviously, being a part of ESPN, you can just hang it up on the Thursday Night Football. But no, he wanted the challenge, and that's just how guys that play professionally are different from most people. I mean, he wanted the challenge of returning and seeing what he can do after, 2 years off? But, and the Bears needed somebody for sure. Man, they were certainly going to look at him. They did look at him. Hey, JMV, it's kind of hard to believe that a calf strain lasts 3 months when A.J. Green tore ligaments last week and still might play in week 1. I know. It does. I guess you're going to go out there with absolutely no pain. I'm telling you, going into Saturday, and I don't know how in the world you're all of a sudden going to be pain-free and be able to go at it hard on Saturday, but yeah, that is going to be X marks the spot, at least for right now, with a lot of people thinking, all right, well, this is going to go ahead and easily be forgotten about, or this is going to be a lingering thought leading up to the start of the season. Yeah, just X, check mark, if you will, Saturday for that. And we shall see where that goes, but that is basically it. I know a lot of you are worn out completely on it too, and so am I. That's why I'm just sticking to my process. I'm not getting worried about it. At the same time, not telling you what to do. BT writes this. Hey, don't forget the Reds started out 1-8 this season. They did. Ugh. They just give me no thought. It's like Cubs fans right now, you believe about your bullpen, right? You do not believe in your bullpen. It's like me. I do not believe the Reds have a big-time run in them. I hope that they do, but and I just don't think they have enough of a run to really get back in it. And you can side if you want San Francisco, and basically they were done. Bruce Bochy, career over. Team done. And then in the month of July, climbed out of the cellar, and now they're right there. And now you're wondering if they're going to trade Bumgarner. Why would you do it? Do you want to do it? Do you want to go for it right now or what? They've worked themselves into position, and the Reds had that opportunity. Like 6.5 is not dead and buried. The problem that I have with it is they have not been able to sustain a streak. I hope they can. I wish they would, but I have not seen it yet. Well, a losing streak they have sustained. But, I mean, the Giants climbed right back in there. They were done. So we'll see what they do or don't do prior to the trade deadline tomorrow. Hey, this is a good thought. Does any of this news change your belief? I need some kind of Connecticut water. I need a Connecticut water question of the day here. I need some kind of poll out. You guys change? Yeah, I still believe this team needs to be where it should be, but has all this changed? And it's funny this morning. So I woke up and I was out in the truck for a minute, and I heard Jeff and Joe, and I heard Joe mention that 12 wasn't out there, and I thought, man, here we go. Here we go. And then when Reich said what Reich had to say about when you say shutting him down, everybody fears the worst. I mean, we're going to shut him down for a little bit. That never sounds good. And then when Luck, and honestly, it was good that Luck was meeting in front of the media and answered questions when we talked about the pain and the pull coming from his calf and lower ankle. And they kind of inspired this thought. I don't blame you. Thanks. JMV. I'm one that now I am taking down. So you don't think he's going to start the season? I still firmly believe he's going to start the season. I'll sit here right now and tell you I don't think we're going to be talking about that later on as much as you are right now. I'm not going to go there yet. I don't have the answers as to why it does take 3 months for a calf strain to heal, other than it's probably not a calf strain, or it wasn't a calf strain. And I'm not a doctor, so I bring the ATI guys on for me. The ATI guys can tell me all I need to know. But it's taken a while. At JMV, this news means we should trade for Elliott, pay him, take pressure off the quarterback. That's probably not what this means. Is Ezekiel Elliott still holed up in Mexico someplace waiting? At JMV, read this. Feeling pain at the ankle is not typical for a calf muscle strain. That is according to some doctor, Dr. J. Chow. And this is in response to a Jason Lockenfora, who apparently was out there today. Quote from Luck, I did a disservice to myself by saying I'd be ready. It's a calf strain. I say lower leg. Lockenfora has lower keg here, which is pretty funny. I say lower leg because I feel pain at my ankle. Says will look and feel like an average quarterback if he tries to practice now. And at Pro Football Doc's response was feeling pain at the ankle is not typical for a calf muscle strain. Something to watch. And further feed your fire. Not typical. All right, we'll jump back to this coming up in a minute. Ben Banigou of the Colts is going to join us at the 5 o'clock hour. Darius Rucker is going to be there as well. We got something called Knot Fest with Slipknot. Slipknot Volbeat coming up. I got tickets to give away there. Alice in Chains and Korn as well. When are we officially in the month of August? Thursday? Is that Thursday? So one of my kids go back to school. Hey, quick shout to Center Grove, too. Lenny Lou's getting ready to start down there next week. Can't wait. Walnut Grove is all new. They have a slide in there. I didn't have a slide in my school. Eastern didn't have a slide. No, they did. They had a slide that went from the food we didn't eat from the cafeteria out to the garbage, but I didn't want to ride that one. You got a slide and everything at Walnut Grove. And then Blake T gets to start at St. Francis and Clare for year number 2, which is outstanding. And some of you around here have been going to school for a week plus now, which is ridiculous. You know, it's funny you guys are bringing up Achilles, and I think that's what everybody is alluding to with the worth watching. He mentioned that imagery, MRI facts, have shown that the Achilles is not in play here. However, who knows? You're being extra careful because of that. I mean, if you're being extra careful by virtue of what we saw from Kevin Durant, that's why you're being extra careful. And then maybe you shouldn't feel good. But they certainly are handling this with care. And hopefully we won't have to talk about it come the start of the season. Now, let's see. Anybody out there, what do you guys believe? Is it nothing to see here, or is it something that concerns you? At 239-1070. We'll do that on the other side. Ben Banigou of the Colts, Darius Rucker, Hootie and the Blowfish, all loaded up for the 5 o'clock hour. We'll get back to your calls. Other side next.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Anthony Costanzo joining us here.
Body's feeling great. You know, it's that time. So body knows it, mind knows it, ready to go.
No hamstring injuries, right?
Please don't jinx me, because at this point last year I also didn't have a hamstring injury. So it was like my last day of training. So yeah, as of right now, we're good.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe. Weekday mornings, 7 to 10. Only on FM 107.5 at 1070 The Fan.
Calling all Bobs. IndianaUnclaimed.gov and the Office of the Indiana Attorney General may have money for you. In fact, we owe people named Bob more than $3.4 million. In all, we have nearly $500 million ready to return to deserving Hoosiers like Bob. And you, do we have money for you or the Bob in your life? Find out at IndianaUnclaimed.gov. It's worth a look. See and search for yourself. IndianaUnclaimed.gov.
Hey, I got something for you here, the Four Winds Lakeside Inner Marina, and I got a deal for you. You're trying to squeeze out the final bits and pieces of your summer break here. How about a midweek staycation? 3 nights, Sunday through Thursday, just $199 for a garden double at the Four Winds Lakeside Inner Marina. Upgrade this bad boy for a lakeside view for $99 more, and you have it all there, too. The Windjammer Bar and Grill, you shall love it. They'll serve you breakfast. Got a little breakfast buffet there, which is outstanding. Got a great pool, mini golf, boat rental, ski rental, hiking trails. It's Lake Monroe, for goodness sake. It is an absolute blast, and it's the Four Winds and Tony that have a great deal for you right now. So $199 for a 3-night Sunday through Thursday staycation. 812-824-2628. Now hurry and call and make your reservation because I don't want them to be sold out on you. This is going to move quickly. 812-824-BOAT or online, fourwindslakeside.com.
How do you wake up the entire African American community to the hidden issue of mental health problems?
It showed up in my life through one of my best friends, and we've been friends for over 30 years.
Share your story.
If we would have known earlier, we would have been much more supportive with her.
Once I reached out to my sister, it got a little better. Once I told my mother, it got a little better. The more I talked about it, I felt it coming off.
The healing is in me, and the healing in a journey can also be extended to others.
It's our community and our mental health.
Giving voice to what you're feeling is part of the healing.
If you're strong enough to just open your mouth, that's all it takes.
And the most revolutionary and healing thing that Black people can do right now is to love one another.
It's time to share ourselves. Healing starts with us. Search online for stories that heal. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Ad Council, and the Stay Strong Foundation.
Hey, it's Stan Doggett here for Family Leisure. You know how much I love my spa from Family Leisure. Guess what? It's back. That's right. America's largest spa dealer is having the world's biggest spa sale. Over 1,200 spas, 5 manufacturers, no games, no gimmick. Higher quality spas, better service, lower prices. $8,000 spas, only $49.99. $5,000 spas, only $24.99. Special financing available. Over 50 models to choose from and spas from $12.99. Nobody beats Family Leisure. Nobody.
Having ED issues? Locally owned Men's Health Solutions has a $75 initial appointment fee that includes a test dose of medication and sample meds. menshealthsolutions.us.
Wouldn't you like to have a nice, relaxing camping trip about now? Well, it's not that kind of camping trip. The Colts 2019 season starts in Westfield as the players move in for training camp. Let's go! And the Fan has you covered. Daily updates on air and online. The road to the Super Bowl begins in the long, hot summer.
Run down the field on them!
Colts training camp on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
I want to get to the bottom of this. ASAFP.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
I did a disservice to myself by saying I'd be ready. I think that's another thing I tried to learn with an injury is you can't, bodies don't care about a date on a calendar or something. I certainly wish I was out here, but the nature of it is a calf strain, and I say lower leg because I feel pain in my ankle area, and calf strain, and I guess I'll get a little specific. I've had images and x-rays and everything, and my Achilles is not at extra risk. There is no tear or swelling in there or anything that's indicated, so it's a calf strain, and we're on our feet a lot, and I know to be the best quarterback I want to be, to help this team like I want to help them, I'm not looking for average. And if I'm going out here with pain, I'll be average. I will feel like an average quarterback, and I'll be an average quarterback. That's not good enough for me. That's not good enough for this club.
Andrew Luck earlier today. Get your thoughts on it at 239-1070. That's right before the Q&A got underway. And that's where he is right now with the whole calf strain injury. I'm already sick and tired of talking about the calf strain injury. I mean, hell, at least we don't have a year of this, I guess. As long as he doesn't go to Europe, I think we all feel good about it. Luke Jackson chimes in. My gut tells me everything is cool with Luck. I've been told that everything is going to be good with Luck, but when negativity reigns, and because of 2 years ago, there's just not a lot of people are going to buy it. Some people are going to have a raised eyebrow, be apprehensive, and I don't blame you. But I do know that they certainly have tried to change the way that they handled things after that botched disaster of 2 years ago, which it was. I mean, that was a public relations nightmare. And that's one of the major reasons why a lot of you are apprehensive about buying it right now still. And as far as, wondering and being concerned, I don't blame you. And about the concern, I don't blame you just because you want your guy to be out there because he's your guy. I mean, nobody suggests that he is not ready to go and, needs all this practice time, but guys around him do. It's just a thought, but guys around him do. Now, Doug, this slide inside Walnut Grove down in Center Grove is a slide inside the school and not one on the playground. Not one of those cheese graters, steel cheese graters back in the day that if the sun stuck out there for about 15 minutes, you could fry an egg on it. Not one of those. Inside the school. JMV, I'm not worried, but it is really weird that he has to be perfectly healthy to play. What's really weird about what you just wrote here, Greg, is that he didn't used to be. He didn't have to be perfectly healthy. In fact, rarely was he perfectly healthy. First 3-4 years. Rarely. Now, people tell me that he learned from that experience and certainly missing the entire year, of gambling with his body and his health and staying out there. But it is the perfectly healthy thing is odd. But I think you can gamble on that right now just by virtue of it being 40 days out. I mean, let's face it. The only reason why anybody has any conflict with what is being done right now is because of 2 years ago. And to a degree, as an organization, because of the way that it was handled 2 years ago, you still kind of pay for that in the court of public opinion again. That's why you can't have, this has got to be, these guys all have to be on the up and up with how this is going down. This can't be an issue. Because if it turns out to be an issue, there's nobody's going to be believed ever again. So it can't be. Let's just put it that way. Cannot be. Oh, man, Calvin, you brought this up. Those were the days back then. I hated this. This reminds me of Manning's Bursa sack preseason injury. Yeah. Remember that? I can't remember. Did Manning get in front of the media back then? That's been too far back for me to remember. I hated that. And then the news I had to break about him not coming. Ooh, that was terrible. I didn't like it. I did not like it. Just always consider this. There's going to be a level of secrecy always. And just because they have become more transparent never means they're going to be completely transparent. They did realize after 2 years ago that you had to give folks something, especially when it was as botched all the way around as it was then. And it was. Because, again, that's why you feel the way that you do right now, is because of that. Aaron is at 239-1070 right now. Aaron, hello. How are you?
Good, JMV. Long-time listener. Big fan of the show.
That is a beautiful thing to my ears. Go ahead.
So, I want your take on, is Andrew Luck a WWE wrestler in the offseason, or how does this dude keep getting hurt when he's not playing?
Well, I don't know. Man, he was noted in the past, and I'm assuming he no longer gets on the snowboard because if you remember, we were sitting in here one day and we had an Uber driver call us and say that's what was said in the back of his ride, and that turned out to be accurate. So I would assume that he's not doing anything that puts him in harm's way. From what he said, he was, just training or working out is where this came from. So.
Well, I appreciate you taking my call, Jim.
He does, yeah, and thank you, Aaron. He seems like that there's something, but there really wasn't anything last year. Nothing last year. Kind of funny, last year in the preseason, they had to prove stuff to us, remember? We had all these little different steps of proving. It was like day one in the check that. Day one of camp, proof. Hey, he's out there. Hey, proof he's throwing a football. Hey, proof he's throwing a real football and not a Nerf football or not one of those footballs, they throw it at high school games to the fans that's sponsored by a bank. There was always these levels of proof. Well, that first preseason game, he's got to take a hit. I talked yesterday. Bobby Wagner, I think, had a hit. Oh, was it a real hit or was it not a great hit? Whatever. I mean, there was all this proof. How far can he throw it? Is his arm strength back? Had to prove that. And that did take a while. I mean, hell, second week of the season, he had to bring in Jacoby Brissett to throw that thing, 40 yards down the field for a Hail Mary. Last year, there was always so much to prove. That there hasn't been anything to prove right now because you're just kind of, or have been buying in what the Colts are telling you. And that's why this has to be accurate. That's why this has to go according to plan, because if it doesn't, you guys are going to have trouble believing them ever again. So there's a lot on the line here. And again, that's why I believe what I was told earlier today, because I don't think there's any other way. Yeah, especially surrounding a season that is so highly regarded. So expectation-ridden. I don't think there's any way around this. I mean, you have to be, as open as you possibly can as a football team, which is not very much, but certainly they have been more than a lot. It's from Alexander. Hey, JMV, it's a lose-lose situation for the Colts. He practices, gets hurt. Further, the Colts ruined him. He sits to recover. The Colts aren't telling the fans, keeping secrets. Just let it play out, in my opinion. And again, that's what I'm doing. I do let it play out, and that's my belief because that's what I'm told to believe. But it's tough to convey that to folks that feel as if they have been burned before. And, I can share all the information in the world with you to show exactly what they did and how they did not try to lie to you, yet just handled it badly 2 years ago. But it doesn't mean you're going to believe it. And that's just the way that it works. Public relations can be a, you know what? But I'm just telling you right now that I have been told to chill. Because if you look back in 40 days, you're going to go, hey, wait a minute. What the hell was I talking about? See, 2 years ago, we could look back and go, yeah, what was I talking about? So we'll see. But I'm not freaking yet. All right, quick one. Jake, we're going to go Brownsburg Will on the other side and some more at 239-1070. Hey, hang out. Next hour, Ben Banigou, rookie, Colts, defensive player, TCU. And you will not want to miss a conversation with Darius Rucker. We gave away tickets. I don't know is the Ruoff date sold out yet? Do we know? I don't think that it is, right? August 17th, Hootie and the Blowfish celebrate 75 years. How old am I? 25 years of Cracked Rearview. And it was basically an album everybody had and probably still has. August the 17th, they will be, along with the Bare Naked Ladies, at the Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. Their lead man, Darius Rucker, who is a big-time sports fan and, like me, a huge Reds fan, will join us. I think he is scheduled to call in at 5:30 today. Darius Rucker of Hootie and the Blowfish should be outstanding. We're back with you next. Sit tight.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Anthony Costanzo joining us here.
Body's feeling great. You know, it's that time. So body knows it, mind knows it, ready to go.
No hamstring injuries, right?
Please don't jinx me, because at this point last year I also didn't have a hamstring injury. So it was like my last day of training. So yeah, as of right now, we're good.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe. Weekday mornings, 7 to 10. Only on FM 107.5 at 1070 The Fan.
How well do you know the Indiana State Fair? Test your knowledge for a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to this year's festivity. Log on 1075thefan.com.
Hoosier fans, Indiana football tickets are on sale now for the 2019 season. IU football hosts 6 home games this fall, including matchups against Big Ten East rivals, the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines. Fans can purchase single-game tickets as low as $20 and $200 for season tickets. For complete ticket information, visit IUHoosiers.com today. Go IU.
Hey, John for Indiana's Best, Andy Moore, Toyota. Oh, that's what happens when I don't have my headphones on. I don't hear the end of the commercial, and then I upcut it like a jerk. My bad, IU football. Hey, it's John here for Indiana's Best, Andy Moore, Toyota in Avon. It's 5 miles west of 465 on US 36. I'm going to tell you what, it's a bad way to start to botch this, but I am going to close strong with great deals going on right now at Indiana's Best. We're talking about across the lot, online, AndyMooreToyota.com, car, truck, or van. You're not going to find better vehicles with great guarantees at better prices than you will with my man Ben Mendoza, Robert, and the gang at Andy Moore Toyota in Avon. So let's finish strong. Let's get you in a new vehicle of your choice for a great price in one-stop shopping where the car buying experience is the absolute best. That's Andy Moore Toyota in Avon. Tell him I sent you, and tell him how good of a read this was too. 5 miles west of 465 on US 36.
Are kids better off in an intact family? You bet they are. This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Kids living in a household with married parents do better in school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122 or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's Big Joe. Right now, for every window you buy, you get the next one free, no limits, and 0% financing for 36 months. Call 317-659-8191 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com. And like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Call Crown Haven Wealth Advisors for your custom retirement plan at 844-896-7233 and online at crownhaven.com.
Go trackside with Kurt Cavan and Kevin Lee. Tonight at 7 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
JMV does not suck at all.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
John, thank you. I do kind of suck a little bit, I'll be honest with you. But I own it. See, that's what I do. I own stuff. I own stuff. That's intestinal fortitude. What is this? The Revivalists? Dig on the Revivalists here. Ben Banagoo of the Colts after 5. Darius Rucker of the Hootie and the Blowfish. 5:30. Jay Ryan with this. Wasn't the time you broke the news on 18 the start of you and Schefter's rocky relationship? Yeah. And Bill Polian was mad at me too. And, he didn't call me a liar, but he called Schefter and Mortensen and Clayton and said that I was inaccurate. And I was completely accurate. But that's just kind of that's the NFL spin that you get. I don't blame him for that. And I like Bill. I've always liked Bill. And frankly, if some numbnut like me would have decided to go ahead and bring that out, the weekend going into the start of the NFL season, I'd probably been pissed off too. But no hard feelings. Well, I guess with Schefter, Schefter was a jerk. And he knows he was a jerk, and people that have had him on before have probably dealt with him being a jerk. He may not be that way any longer, but he was, and I had enough, and I was sick, and I made him sit there through probably the world's worst interview, where at the very end I asked what his favorite color was, just to make him sit there. I was a jerk, and I've been a jerk on Twitter. Those are some of the things that you learn. I acted like I was 15.
Nick says, the guy that got punched by Tony Stewart wanted that smoke. Yeah, if you watch this, Stewart, or how I should say it in Southern Indiana, Stewart, was getting heckled by this guy, and then Stewart, told him to blank off and called him a blank hole because his engine blew or something, and he gave this guy the finger, and this guy back says, I got two of these, That is a great hillbilly comeback right there. Hey, I got two of these.
Double barrel action for you. And then said something else, and Stewart had enough and went running after him and clocked him. Some guys can get away with that. He'll probably still get some kind of lawsuit over it, I would imagine. I can't imagine there ever being a time when Tony Stewart doesn't try to chase somebody down like that and punch him, especially in that situation, because when you're talking about, the dirt track racing, that stuff goes on hourly. There's always somebody getting mad at somebody else. And truth be told, some of these guys can drive and some of these guys can't. So when there's an issue, it's not like we're talking about, Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson getting into it, two great drivers. We're talking about two hillbilly numbnuts that can't keep it in their own lane. But I like it. That's all good. JMV, can we find the Schefter interview? I've always thought, I don't know if we can or not. I don't think that was podcast. I mean, it was awful, and I was sick. If memory serves, I was sick. We were at the Combine. It was back when it was in the Lucas Oil Stadium. We're in the hallway. Everybody was leaving, and the wind was blowing in there. It was free. I was sick, and I went to the bathroom, and some dude said, hey, do you want me to get Adam and bring him over here? And I go, it's never really been enjoyable for me, so let's not do it. And the guy did it anyway, and it was a mess. And it was, listen, I completely own it. It's my fault. And then the other time it was on Twitter. The time I really got in trouble was on Twitter. And he had said something kind of smug and smart-ass in tweeting back to Irsay, and then I countered with, I believe this is the reason why you have great information, but this is the reason why people oftentimes don't like you or something like that, and stupid. I mean, I'm a grown man. What the hell am I doing? That's why I just try to keep Twitter and social media fun-loving now. Just because I don't mean to be some grown-ass man fighting like I'm 13 years old in social media. But man, he went up the ladder here. It got me in all sorts of trouble. I had to have meetings and lunches, and I got blackballed. I needed One Shining Moment playing in the background for that. It was pretty funny. But listen, it's a lesson learned. I own it, though. Hey, JMV, who would you rather deck? Florio, DaCosta, Schefter, or Rappaport? Well, DaCosta deserved to be decked. I don't like Florio either, but like in this order, DaCosta is a red-ass nut. I don't like him at all. I don't like Florio very much, and I don't have really a problem. The Schefter problem was more me. And I don't have anything against Rappaport. So DaCosta is just nuts. And then nuts for all the wrong reasons, too. I mean, if you're going to be nuts, at least be accurate about something. Hey, now he's running the Ravens organization. Feel good about that. Do you think Executive of the Year can also be a guy that almost or felt obligated to want to get in the face and feel like punching Chris Hagan in the hot dog line at halftime? Is that the guy you want running your organization? I would question that. I don't know if I would want halftime hot dog line fighting general manager as my guy. That's pretty funny. Those are great stories, though. But I do think he's nuts. Jake talks luck at 239-1070. Go ahead, Jake. How are you?
Hey, good, JMV. How are you?
Great. Go ahead.
Hey, I just want to talk about the Andrew Luck calf injury. So basically, what happens if he's got pain in his calf and pain in his ankle? You know, when he drops back or tries to plant on that foot, it's going to load that Achilles. So I know he said, you know, the Achilles is clean with imaging, but it absolutely is at higher risk for him to practice with that calf strain going on. So with these fans trying to call and tell him he needs to be out there practicing, not 100% healthy, the season's not here yet. He needs to get fully healthy before he gets ready.
Well, Jake, and I agree with you on this. I don't think anybody around here is suggesting he should go out there not feeling well. I think that they're just concerned because it's been 3 months and he still has pain there. I think there's kind of a difference. Yeah.
Very true. It must have been pretty severe calf strain for it to take this long.
I kind of want to know a little bit more about that myself. Yes, we're never going to probably find out, but I'd like to know a little bit more, yeah. Hey, Jake, you call anytime. Thank you. Brownsburg Will is up next. Hello, Will.
Hey, what's going on, fellow Sycamore?
What's happening?
Greetings from Cromwell with Marcus Johnson and
hey, man.
LaSalle Thompson.
I saw Marcus Johnson once upon a time, and he's 6'9", right? Do the biggest keg stand in the history of keg stands. It was impressive.
Yes, sir.
It was impressive.
Yes, sir. I'm not going to talk about Andrew Luck and all that stuff. I just wanted to bring up, first of all, something has to happen sports-wise. I'm done. I'm killing my son every day on Tecmo Bowl. He can't stop Bo Jackson. He can't stop it. So he's mad. But I really like what the Pacers are doing. They got younger, they got longer, and we can start a lineup of TJs and Holidays. Nobody else in the league can say that.
Nobody can say that. And I mentioned this yesterday, having TJ McConnell on. I think this is going to be you're going to see this as an end result be more important in the grand scheme as a signing than what you think right now. You watch. Mark my words.
I totally agree with you. But thanks for giving me the time, and I will see you at the next event. And go Sycamores.
Gotcha. Brownsburg will. Go Sycamores. I love you, Indiana State. Terre Haute. Shout. I love Indiana State. Kurt Mallory, football coach. Tyus McCoy, running back. I hope they have a good season over there, too. Yeah, Cromwell. I didn't stay. I lived off campus in, like, 2 places that look condemned. And they certainly should be condemned now. Like, I roll around Bloomington, right, and these kids are staying in these brownstone-looking things about $1,500 a month. And, you know, I lived in an apartment where the snow would come down the chimney in the wintertime and land on the living room floor. I mean, we had bugs, everything. I lived in a crap hole. And I was okay with living in a crap hole. I thought that was a rite of passage. Yeah, you know what? If you're going to stay in your own apartment, this is what you get to pay. It's a crap hole. Oh, my kids are probably going to want to live in some big, nice brownstone. I'm going to go, nope, crap hole. Got to live in a crap hole. All right, quick one. We'll come back. Steven's going to lead on the other side. Ben Banagoo of the Colts also in the 5 o'clock hour. Darius Rucker of Hootie and the Blowfish, live local and late breaking at 5:30. Back with you next.
Sports with Dan Dockage.
Jack Doyle, the team's 1-5. Looking back on it, what was the biggest thing to turning that around?
I think it was more of
we kept working. We had great leaders that kept the team together and kept practicing, kept playing, and it turned around because we stuck to what we were doing. We didn't let things fall off the cliff or people started having their own agendas or anything like that. I think that's why it did turn around.
Dan Tuckett, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
I'm going to give you a number right now to call. 812-824-BOAT. That is the Four Winds Lakeside Inn and Marina. There is, I'm telling you what, always a great time to be had at the Four Winds. And now, as good a time as ever. And here's why. Because Tony has decided to roll back pricing for those of you that want a final vacation destination. But in this case, it's a staycation at the Four Winds. Here it is. 3 nights, Sunday through Thursday, just $199 for a garden double. You can upgrade if you want to a lakeside view for $99, but there is everything to do. I love Bloomington in the summertime. It is awesome. You've got the Four Winds. You've got the heated indoor-outdoor pool, the mini golf, the boat rental, the hiking trails, all that you want to do on Lake Monroe. You got the Windjammer Bar and Grill there. It's awesome, too. So what I want you to do right now is make sure you book this before it gets sold out. 812-824-BOAT, 812-824-2628, or online, fourwindslakeside.com right now.
Back. And Cage the Elephant. Live in concert this Sunday at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center with very special guest Spoon and Wild Bell. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Back and Cage the Elephant. All the hits for one night only. Check more at back.com and cagetheelephant.com. Part of the Coors Light Concert Series.
Hey parents, finding it hard to communicate with kids in today's world of ever-changing slang? Hi son. Excuse me? Introducing the Communicizer. Just strap non-toxic Communicizer to your mouth and go from boring old man speak, oh, you know, I'm here if you want to talk, to 100% off the chain. Text me whenever, yo. It's that easy. Thanks to Communicizer, I'm relevant to my kids again. I mean, I'll fly, boo. And now when you buy Communicizer, you get the auto-tune attachment free. Sounds so hip-hop, your kids will want to talk to you for hours. I used to have to walk 3 miles uphill to school every morning, Shorty. I love you, Dad. I love you too, son. Communicizer is not available in stores because it doesn't exist. But that's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Adopt Us Kids and the Ad Council.
You know the name Abra Auto Body Repair of America. You've trusted us for expert collision repair for over 30 years. We're starting a new chapter as Caliber Collision. Now you can get world-class collision repair backed by a national lifetime warranty at over 1,000 locations. Abra was known for getting you back on the road quickly and safely. And now, as Caliber, we'll continue restoring the rhythm of your life. A new name, great people, and the same high standards in customer service. Abra is now Caliber Collision.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BV, W228CX, Indianapolis.
The Colts open preseason play in Buffalo. Coverage next Thursday at 4 on FM 107.5, The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
I got nowhere else to go!
FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
I didn't come up with it yesterday. You guys, hey, look, this fell off. Now, what the hell am I supposed to do now here? My microphone literally, if you guys get on YouTube right now, hold on. I want to see if I can fix this on the fly here. My microphone just fell off, literally here. Keep the music up just for a second. This is the Black Keys, by the way, called Go in the background. You think I can fix this with YouTube? Check out our channel right now, YouTube channel, and watch me fix this microphone. See, look at that. Sorry, 5 o'clock hour here. Okay, get that up there. Well, hell, I can't get that fixed, can I? Oh, wait a minute. Look at that, baby. That's how we do things around here. I don't whine to the engineers. I just do the damn thing myself. YouTube channel, if you want to see me fix this microphone stand. With the help of Kyle, thank you. Ben Banigou, rookie, Colts. And Kevin Bowen in his notes on 1075thefan.com earlier today mentioned the fact that Banigou, is going to be moving to defensive end. So we'll talk about that with him. And also how he's been learning a lot of things, and I think that it's probably a smart move. He's 23 years old. He's a rookie. Learn a little bit from Justin Houston. What the hell am I choking now, man? Come on. Fix something in front of everybody, look really good, now start choking all over everything. Come on. Ben Banigou is going to join us, I think, in about 12 minutes. And Darius Rucker of Hootie and the Blowfish. Look at me fix things right here. Thanks, Brandon Reeve. Here's me fixing stuff. Literally, I pulled down my mic and the damn thing just fell off. Great picture. I retweeted that for you, Brandon. Thank you. Darius Rucker, who's a big-time NFL fan, big Dolphins fan, and if you did not know that, Reds fans along with me, he loves the Reds. JMV, hillbilly numbnuts is an excellent term. Please use it more. I'm all about hillbilly numbnuts. Hey, JMV, nothing good happens on Twitter after 3 from Seltzer. That is so true right there. JMV, for those of us just joining, what's going on with Luck? Is there something new out today? Well, he met with the media. He's being shut down. And when people hear being shut down for a couple of days or whatever, everybody loses, especially if it involves Andrew Luck, and I don't blame you one bit. But he still has a little pain in the lower calf area, just there above his ankle, from what he described earlier today. It's a good thing he met with the media, because if you imagine if Reich was just talking about this and then we're kind of just going without what Andrew had to say, it may be different, maybe it won't be. But let's face it, it's Andrew Luck, it's a quarterback, it's a team with heavy expectations, and it takes many people out there back to 2 years ago, even if it doesn't have anything to do with or there's no connection to 2 years ago. But from what I was told, hey, don't jump the gun on this. Everything is going to be just fine, and if you do jump the gun and start saying stupid crap, you're going to look back on this and be embarrassed. Now, the first thing I thought of was I think I'm past embarrassment now, because I look back so much and go, man, that's stupid. I think I'm past the embarrassment, but I get what you're saying. And again, my whole blueprint for this training camp has been stick with the process of not freaking out about it. So much like they talk about sticking to the process, I'm sticking to the process here too. So that's what I was told, and until further notice, until it's really time to freak out, I won't. But you can certainly phone if you are, and I've said this, I don't have any problem with you being pessimistic about it, because you've been down this path before. However, I would like to see, to me, I believe that this organization is different and would be handling things differently than it did 2 years ago. Because let's face it, if things don't work out the way that they have explained it, basically the summer and now going into now, if it doesn't work out this way, if he's not ready for week number 1, I mean, that's bad. I mean, it's taken a couple of years to kind of, rebrand the trust with this organization that clearly, according to some of you right now, you don't have. Even with me sharing with you what went down, and then having Ballard on here and having him explain to kind of coincide my story. But this is why it has to go this way now. Because if it doesn't, this is going to be a lasting memory, much like some of you still have from 2 years ago. But there's no freaking out here. Hey, Lee writes this: Manning played without being able to run for years. Luck will be fine. Somebody asked me yesterday, do they want to run the football? There are a lot of reasons why you run the football. You also want to save the QB. I mean, and even in that year number one, when he was a rookie and, Bruce Arians had the offense and drop back and throw it deep, I mean, he took a lot of hits there, a lot of unnecessary hits. That man's took hits over the year. And what's interesting about Luck, it's taken him really this long to come to grips with reality, and that is you can't do it. And 2 years ago, I think, sat him down and kind of explained to him that you gotta listen more to your body. And from what everybody says out there today, this is a Luck decision. He wants to be completely ready. He wants to be out there with as close to pain-free as possible and learning from the past. And for that, I don't blame him. And I sure as hell don't blame him because it's July the 30th. Oh, well, I mean, that's what you guys got to listen to me on stuff. Come on. Listen to me on stuff. I'll explain it to you, and then I'll own it if it's inaccurate. See, I'll have to own this. I mean, if I'm telling you right now that, hey, I'm not going to panic, I'm doing this and sticking to this process of mine, and then crap falls through, then you're going to ridicule me, which happens anyway. I'm used to that. But then, you're not going to have any trust. I mean, this has to be the case. And I'll give it up to the Colts. I mean, they have become more transparent and more open and learned from their mistakes of 2 years ago, and those were major. And they're all trying to go in the same direction here, or at least that's the way that it seems. I mean, 2 years ago, Luck was a ghost. And he got out there today. And I didn't try to read his body language. Some were like telling me he looked like he didn't believe what he was saying. I don't know any of that. If you could understand that, then you're a lot smarter than me. But we'll see what happens. I'm not jumping on the panic bus right now like a lot of folks, and not likely to in the foreseeable future. We'll see. We shall see. Hey, by the way, tomorrow's show, Bowen's on tomorrow. Dan Orlovsky, is he golden tomorrow too? Dan Orlovsky of ESPN, former NFL quarterback, QB'd here. If you remember, he was one of the guys a year ago at this time that somewhat was a foreseer of the future, because he was all about Luck and all about his return and all about this team about this time a year ago. Dan Orlovsky coming up tomorrow, and we're going to jump into some college football conversation on Thursday, and we cannot start any football season without having the man on, Phil Steele, the college football preview guru. Phil Steele joins us coming up on Thursday, which I cannot wait for. We can't start any football season, any college football season without Phil Steele. Eddie in Silverdale, Washington is asking me this. Did Luck throw out a veiled shot at Grigson and company? You'll have to elaborate on this. I don't know what. I did not take that there was a veiled shot, and that would seem very un-Andrew Luck-like. But you would have to elaborate a little bit more. Explain a little bit more what you meant by a veiled shot at Grigson. Man, those times have come and gone right now, thankfully. They should have ended earlier, but they've come and gone by now. So, yeah, I don't know exactly what your thought the veiled shot might be right there. That's from Kirk. Nothing like an apartment with rats and that smells like the Bally bathroom over on Crackhead Corner across from 6th Avenue. Go State. Yeah, I was on South 5th. I was at 6th and Deming and 8th and Crawford, and they were all tremendous crap holes. Yeah. It's not going to be a nice place when you leave your rent up on the refrigerator in cash. At the end of the month, we're going to leave our rent on the refrigerator in cash. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. So, no, it wasn't good. At JMV, I'm looking forward to seeing Brissett behind a good offensive line of Luck, or if Luck can't go. 2 years ago, I think he was just trying to create when he was constantly under duress. I think he might be okay. No Andrew Luck, but a good stopgap. Hey, Doug, I'm going to be completely honest with you, and really this is how I've been the entire time. I like the backup quarterback, and Jacoby I like, but I'm okay with knowing what I know right now, not to have to see it. And I hope that you're right if it ever comes to that, but you don't want to see it. You just don't want to see it. See, there's no really feel-good story out of this. I wish there would be, but in the NFL, normally there's not. I mean, you had Matt Hasselbeck stepping in here at one point in time and doing a great job, and then he took so many hits as well, he just wore down. I don't know if he bargained for that many hits back then, but yeah, I don't think it's going to come to that. I don't believe it's going to come to that, and yeah, hopefully it won't come to that. Because everybody has all this belief in the backup, and then you go to the backup, and it's not the same. So yeah. It's from James. So my youngest is going to Hanover in a month, and that's really going to hurt my wallet. And I feel for you, James. How much is Hanover per semester? That's where Woody Harrelson. Did Woody Harrelson go to Hanover, or was he from Hanover? Go to Hanover? Good school. Darius Rucker of Hootie and the Blowfish, bottom of the hour. I'll tell you what, I've got, let's do this right now. Slipknot, Knotfest tickets, number 7-239-1070. Let's do that right now. Knotfest? Anybody want to go? Slipknot is a part of Knotfest right now at 239-1070. Thank you, Live Nation. Got to thank my friends Kyle and Kimmy at Live Nation for that. 239-1070 right now. Number 7 is going to win. He is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline right now. Rookie, Colts, now defensive end. Ben Banigou joins us. Hello, Ben. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
How does it feel to be slotted at defensive end as a 23-year-old rookie right now?
Just having the opportunity to be out here playing for the Colts, is pretty exciting in itself. So, being a defensive end is where they put me at, and I hope to excel there and try my best to help the team anyway.
Hey, Ben, how comfortable are you feeling there right now?
How comfortable?
Yeah.
I would say pretty comfortable. I mean, it's a position that I've played from whenever I started playing it my senior year and then all the way through college. So, TCU is a little different. I was standing up, but it's the same concept. You're getting after the quarterback, so it's pretty cool.
Hey, help us to those that don't understand, and you can also educate me, Ben, if you want to. The difference between the way that you played that position in college and the way that Matt and the staff want you to play defensively at the NFL level.
Okay, so at TCU, I was like stand-up defensive end. We were reading coverage and doing more of what a linebacker would do, and so I dropped into coverage and pass rushing more of like a 3-4, but we were at 4-2-5 at TCU, and then you're just like a down defensive end with your hand in the dirt. The defense is pretty straightforward. They just tell you to get upfield and rush the passer and stop the run. So it's pretty simple and like on paper, but obviously when you're out there, it's a little difficult. So
yeah,
you have to find a way to make it work and show up on the film.
Well, Ben Banigou joins us. He's the rookie from TCU of the Colts on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. All right, I'm going to give you a basketball term here because I think this applies with you defensively. Right. You're a playmaker. I mean that's their vision of you, and I don't know about you. That make me feel really good if they see you as a playmaker now in the future.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is just learn all the plays, know them, and be able to run them fast and be that playmaker that they're asking me to be. So, it's pretty exciting. I'm definitely up for the task. So,
Well, I will tell you this, and this is probably history that somebody has told you about. They have been looking for somebody to consistently give quarterback pressure and be that type of presence around here since a guy that you probably met, Robert Mathis, has been here. So it's been a while. I mean, it really has. And we saw over that span of Mathis and Freeney, really high level stuff back then. But it's been a while since that consistency has been a part of that defense.
Yeah, Robert Mathis and Freeney are one-of-a-kind talent. So my biggest thing is just trying to learn from Rob and, pick his brain. And he's definitely dropped some knowledge on me. We've worked out together, and, I feel like that's definitely helped my game. So now it's just for me to go out there and show the Colts what I can do, and hopefully I can turn it into that guy. So that'll be pretty exciting to see how that works out.
But was this ever discussed, Ben? I mean, when they had meetings with you prior to the draft, as they normally do, was this type of move, this type of adjustment, a part of the discussion?
Well, actually, before, in the pre-draft process, Coach Flus just kind of talked to me about, being a linebacker, defensive end type, like a guy that can just be all over the field from dropping into coverage to rushing the passer. It's what he saw in my film, and that's what he envisioned for me to do. So for me, I don't really ask too many questions. He tells me where he wants in the lineup, and I just try to excel.
Who you've been talking to? That's a lesson learned. So you've been leaning on somebody for good advice. Who's that been defensively right now that's taught you very well to this point?
Coach Fair, he's a great coach. He, on the scheme side, he gets me, we're ready to go for practice. I just try and talk to Justin and Ball and obviously Rob, and just trying to see how they see things. They kind of give me some tips and pointers on stuff that I can improve on or work on, or things that they see in me that I don't necessarily see in myself. So, it's always cool to, hear from those guys and, have them drop some knowledge on you and, just trying to incorporate into your game. So, the more I can do that and the more I can get out on the field and show them what I can do, I feel like, put me in a good spot.
He has been Banigou. He's a rookie of the Colts. He's moved to defensive end, and he is embracing it on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Have you heard about defensively the Matt Eberflus loaf? Do you know what that's about?
Oh, yeah, definitely know what it's about. He made it known to the defense, what he considers a loaf. And, he means everything he says. So when you're out there, you just have to go hard and run the ball, fly the ball, and have great intensity and try not to get on his loaf board.
Anthony Walker told me that there's really no way to get out of getting a loaf at some point in the game. So, I mean, it's a high bar that's set here. You know that, right?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. There's sometimes on film you think you're running, but it's his call. So it's tough. There's no such thing as a perfect day, and to have a perfect day, you have to have 0 loaves. And I haven't had 0 loaves, and I haven't seen anyone have 0 loaves. So it's a tough task.
So Ben Banigou with us. Did they? How hard did they go at you on the game film in that capacity at TCU, Ben?
So at TCU, we were more are you talking about more studying game film?
Yeah.
Yeah. So TCU is more of a game plan to play plays. So whatever the offense is running, they game plan to stop that play and to stop that type of offense. But here we have our set defense and we run it. So it doesn't really matter what the offense puts out there. Obviously, we'll match our personnel to their personnel, but they're pretty set plays, and the base of it all is just to make plays, get off the ball, and stop the run when you stop the run, and we need to rush the passer. You rush the passer and get an interception. So.
Yeah. I got a feeling that the film sessions after games are going to be a hell of a lot different coming up here. For you.
Yeah, definitely a little bit different, but and it's you obviously have to watch more film here, just because everyone's different, and you need those little things that need to watch out for. So that's something that I've been learning more than just watching the opposing team, watching certain players and how they move, and what moves work against them and what moves don't work against them. And that's something that Justin and Autry have been kind of helping me with. So that's been cool.
Justin's a badass dude, isn't he?
Yeah, he's he's one of the league's best. So definitely didn't get up there for no reason.
Hey, before I let you go, Ben Banigou joins us at the Colts. I don't want you, because I know you don't want to compare yourself to somebody, but if you were going to be like, or if you could pattern your game or be as effective, as productive as somebody, is there anybody that you kind of look at and think, man, that is the bar where I want to set this as a 23-year-old?
Watching a lot of football, like, especially at the D-line, like at the DN spot, Justin's been great. So, I'm just trying to, work to the point wherever I can do some of the same things that he's been doing. Obviously, Khalil Mack is a great player, and he's one of the, if not the best. So, I'm just trying to get up to that level, to the level of Khalil Mack, Von Miller, Houston, and Ford, and all those guys. So, when you make a lot of sacks, you get paid the big bucks. So, definitely want to be in that category when it's all said and done.
Hey, you get a lot of sacks here because we haven't seen individually, a great sack guy since Mathis here. You're not only going to get paid, but you're going to get loved. You're going to get a lot of love around here walking around if you're able to produce, especially as a rookie. And the expectations with that group are incredibly high. Hey, first conversation here. I appreciate you being on, and I'll look for you up at camp, and we'll do this again, Ben. Thank you very much for the time. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Thanks for having me.
Ben Banigou of the Colts on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. That was fun. Anthony Walker's been, as of last year, one of the best interviews we've had, because he basically tells you straight out. We had him go through, I forget when this was, maybe in October, go through a game and what a loaf was. And we'll bring that back up more than just occasionally with defensive guys over the course of the year. But it is Matt Eberflus way of
just diagramming a game and judging a game. And it is at a high level. And the guys always laugh when you bring that up. They always laugh about it. Ben Banigou on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. That was enjoyable. You guys are going to enjoy this on the other side. He's an NFL fan. He loves the Dolphins. He once sat at the top of the RCA Dome as a fan of Dan Marino as the Dolphins were in town. But he's also a huge Reds fan. And maybe the hottest ticket at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center this summer,
Hootie and the Blowfish celebrating 25 years of Cracked Rearview. And that's the CD that probably everybody had in the day. He's been solo, but he's back with the band, and they are putting together a new album and on tour. The lead of Hootie and the Blowfish, it is one Darius Rucker. And he is set to join us. So he's scheduled to join us coming up at the bottom of the hour. Quick break, and we'll come back. More tickets to give away before we bail. We'll tell you all about tomorrow and revisit the topic of the day, which is clearly Andrew Luck. Back with you next.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Anthony Costanzo joining us here.
Body's feeling great. It's that time. So body knows it, mind knows it, ready to go.
No hamstring injuries, right?
Please don't jinx me, because at this point last year I also didn't have a hamstring injury. So it was like my last day of training. So yeah, as of right now, we're good.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe. Weekday mornings, 7 to 10. Only on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
As a small business owner, when was the last time you considered switching internet providers?
I don't even remember. Running a business keeps me pretty busy.
Let's compare your current provider to Comcast Business. Are you getting fast, reliable internet?
Sometimes.
How about a full suite of innovative services like separate Wi-Fi networks, 4G wireless backup, and advanced voice solutions?
I highly doubt it.
Sounds like Comcast Business could give you more. Make the switch to the nation's largest gig speed network now and get an amazing deal. Right now, get fast 75 megabit internet for $49.95 per month for 2 years when you add 2 voice mobility lines and sign up for paperless billing and autopay. Call 1-800-501-6000 today. Comcast Business. Beyond fast.
Monthly service charge increases by $10 without paperless billing and auto pay. Offer ends 8/21/19. Restrictions apply. New business customers only. 2-year agreement required. Early termination fee applies. Equipment taxes and fees extra, subject to change. Backup limited to up to 8 hours.
John, for the Four Winds Lakeside Inn Marina, this might be the final time you have the opportunity to get you and the family out for a staycation, vacation. Maybe it's just you and your wife, whatever. But it's a great time at a great price, and here's what Tony has to offer down at the Four Winds. 3 nights, Sunday through Thursday, just $199 for a garden double room, or upgrade to a lakeside for just $99 more. There is so much fun to be had, and we're trying to squeeze out the last bit of enjoyment before things get back to normal with the kids in school, and then the summer is, well, by all intents and purposes, over. So do it now, and I want you to make sure you get this Sunday through Thursday deal at $199 before it's sold out. And of course, at the Four Winds, you got everything to do. You got a pool, mini golf, boat rental, hiking trails, all that. The Windjammer Lounge, the bar and grill there, you'll love it. 812-824-BOAT. Make sure you get this before it is sold out. 812-824-2628. Or online, fourwindslakeside.com today.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122, or visit online at cordellcordell.com. That's cordellcordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
Protect your wealth with a custom-made retirement plan from Crown Haven Wealth Advisors by calling 844-896-7233 and online at crownhaven.com.
Sports with Dan Dockage.
Pat McAfee, congratulations. Thursday night, as I said, just got better on ESPN.
I was planning on going back to the NFL all the way up until a couple of weeks ago, and my knee just started to balloon up. And it was a nice moment of closure for me where this Thursday night football thing is just the tip of the iceberg. I am pumped and excited about it, and I can't wait to get in the booth, and I'm very grateful for ESPN allowing me the opportunity to do so.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Well, you're going to have to say that. You're going to have to speak up because I can't hear you.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Oh, this is Daenerys' favorite band right here. August 17th, Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. I'm assuming tickets are still available. I haven't heard from Kyle or Kimmy or my friends at Live Nation. I'm assuming the tickets are still available. It's an album that everybody had back in the day. 25 years later, at this time 25 years ago, everybody was going out to get it. One of the highest selling albums of certainly the 1990s of the decade itself. But August 17th is the date. And joining us now, there he is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. He's sometimes solo, but for the summertime, and then coming up on August the 17th, the front man of the band Hootie and the Blowfish. Let's welcome Darius Rucker to the show. Hey, Darius, thanks for the time. How are you?
How you doing, man?
Man, I couldn't be better. I mean, we're kind of sifting through right now, Darius, Andrew Luck injury news. So if you want to go ahead and jump in on that with us here in Indianapolis, please add something to it because
he'll be good by when the season starts, right?
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they're saying. That's what I was told, and that's what everybody's saying. That's what Luck is saying. But, you know, I mean, as a football fan, and I know you're a big Dolphins fan, whenever a elite-level quarterback gets injured, everybody has something to say about it. And with Luck's history of injury, you know, Darius, that's kind of where we're going right now. We got a little freak out from the fans happening right now.
Oh, I understand that. You know, that's the nature of the NFL fan. You know, like you said, a franchise guy is going to take you to the next level and take you to the Super Bowl. And, you know, anytime there's anything injury-wise, people start to freak out. But I read a little bit about it. They seem fine. He's going to be at the start of the season. Think about this. Less hits he has to take for the preseason. That's good. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm trying to calm everybody down, but you know what? Then you start to thinking a little bit, and your mind starts playing a little tricks on you. So, yeah, what are you going to do? Are you still a big Dolphins fan as you've always been?
Big, huge, love him. Try to go to a couple games a year, and I really, really love him. I pull for him big time. I'm the guy who actually, when I play my friends in Madden, I will only be the Dolphins. I love him. You're laughing at me.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because I'm like that too. Like I think we're both.
I played my son.
We're both big Reds fans, so we're both big Reds fans, and I would only be the Reds in anything baseball.
And I want you to think about that. I love the Dolphins and the Reds. That's tough right now.
Well, it's funny. If you're watching the Reds right now, we're kind of wondering whether or not, Darius, they're going to go for it here, or they're going to buy or sell here at tomorrow's trade deadline, and I'm kind of hoping they hang with it. I do. I don't know about you. I love Yasiel Puig.
Love him, and and I'd love to keep him. I really hope we go for it, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
I'm right there with you. This is Darius Rucker, the lead singer of Hootie and the Blowfish. We're celebrating 25 years of Cracked Rearview, the group therapy tour, which comes to Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center on August the 17th. It is going to be a blast. Hey, how has the entire tour gone for you and the guys so far?
Oh, it's been crazy awesome. I mean, it's I was the naysayer in the first meeting. I was like, guys, I'll give it a shot if you want to do this. And the shows have been amazing. The crowds have been awesome. I read somebody told me the other day it's the biggest tour we've ever done so far. I was like, wow, this is crazy. So I'm glad we're doing that, and I think everybody's having a good time.
How much apprehension did you have? I mean, when this idea was initially brought up, was there apprehension with you and the guys doing this together?
We talked about it for years. I've been in Nashville now for almost 12 years. So we talked about it, but it was just never the right time and never the right thing. And we got together this year, and we're just sitting around, and it came up, and I was like, let's explore, and exploring it. Everybody thought it was going to be something really cool and something big, and people wanted to see it, and so I said, yeah, let's go have some fun.
Well, it's awesome. I think you guys are out on the road with Bare Naked Ladies, and I mean, they're a hell of a way to open up and having a good time on the group therapy tour. Did you ever think that Cracked Rearview? I want to go back to South Carolina days. All right, when you first started to really think about this whole music thing with the guys, and then you come up with Cracked Rearview, the album. It is one of the highest selling, really, of all time, and certainly of the 90s. Did you ever think for a moment that album was going to be as big as it turned out to be?
Oh, goodness, no. I mean, I don't think anybody – you couldn't believe it. I mean, I still don't believe it. That album was one of those records that hit at the perfect time. It was all timing. Yeah, so it has to be a great record or it doesn't happen, but the timing was perfect, and you watch it. There were moments when we were selling the main record of the week, and you're like, oh, my goodness. This is crazy. And it was funny because when we got together to start writing the second record, we were in Bermuda, and I came into the room, and I said, okay, guys, the first thing we have to realize is this is never going to happen again. You got to realize that early on. That was an anomaly.
I always say this. I don't know anybody, Darius, honestly, that didn't have that album in the 90s. I mean, it was one of those albums. It was like, Nirvana, Nevermind. It was like Pearl Jam, 10. I mean, everybody had that album. And that's an amazing group in that decade to be a part of right there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even if, to be mentioned, Nirvana and Pearl Jam and those records that I had. and I loved it. That's when we look back, that's really how we feel and how we see it, which I love is we're 53 and 52 and 54, and we're here on this big tour. If you had told us at 19 that this was going to happen, we all would have bought in right there. And this has been awesome, right?
Yeah, he's Darius Rucker, lead singer of Hootie and the Blowfish. Also does stuff, obviously, that you guys love on his own. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So how's the new Hootie album coming out?
Oh, great, man. We're just in Nashville finishing up some stuff, and we're all really excited about it. I think there's going to be an announcement here soon about some stuff that we're going to put I start putting some stuff out. But I'm excited. I mean, I love making records with these boys.
You know, I want to talk about the country aspect of what you do as well. I remember back when, and we're close to the same age. I'm 49. I'm going to be 50 coming up in December. But I remember back on the pop charts when you had just massive crossovers from, Alabama and Eddie Rabbitt and Kenny Rogers and Juice Newton and Ronnie Millsap back in the day. And I thought at the time, I don't know if country is ever going to be this universally, at least across this nation, popular as it was then. And man, now I don't think we've ever seen a time like this where country music has shined on both sides of the spectrum as it does.
Oh, I agree. I mean, right now it's massive. It's huge. You look at the tours and everything that are out every year. The country tours are always big. And the people just a lot of people are just going to the country music. I mean, they love guitars, and a lot of people miss guitar, I think, and so there's still a lot of it in country. And so I love to be part of it. I love watching it grow.
It's Darius Rucker with us. Is there anything musically that you haven't done that you would like to do?
Oh, no, I get to do a lot of cool stuff. Getting to musically, it's been just crazy, this great stuff I've got to do. I just want to do it a little longer, man.
Yeah, it's Darius Rucker of Hootie and the Blowfish. They're going to get in here in Indianapolis. Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center up in Noblesville. That's coming up on August the 17th. All right, before I let you go, we brought up football. We'll end with football here. Your Dolphins are picked, I think, as one of the worst, if not the worst, in 2019. Will they be the worst team in the NFL this year, Darius? What do you think?
You heard it here first. Fitzpatrick, MVP, Dolphins Super Bowl champions. You heard it here first.
I'm falling out of the chair right now.
You heard it here first.
I am. You know what? If this happens, then you got to come right back on here because you struck yourself some gold. I mean, really, this would be, to the level of compared to where they are right now. This would be like cracked review level 25 years ago. I mean, boom.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you. If there was a Super Bowl this year, it's definitely that level. It's bigger.
Hey, before I let you go, and I know you've been here a lot, whether you're doing your solo stuff, country, or you're with Hootie now. Do you like stopping through Indiana and Indianapolis in particular and playing music in front of the fans?
Oh, love it. I played some amazing shows. Playing when the Super Bowl was there and playing out just to like 60,000 people out in the streets. I mean, hanging out with Peyton the million times I've been there with her. I got a great story about I went to see a football game there. Marino was still playing. I went to see a football game. He got me tickets. And so I had great tickets in a box, but then I had tickets in the seats, and I went to my seats, and I'm not kidding you. When I got to my seats, I touched the top of the dome. It was awesome. But I'm not kidding you. It was awesome. It was, I mean, I love that city. I've come there. I've had so much fun there. It's one of the places when I see it on the calendar, I'm really excited.
Well, we're glad you're coming, too, because whether you're on your own or certainly now with the 25-year reunion with Hootie and the Blowfish and the Cracked Review, it's awesome. It really is. And we'll see you coming up on August the 17th, and we'll see if your Dolphins call comes to fruition. And I'm going to tell you what, reach out in social media on Twitter or something if our Reds decide to go ahead and buy in and maybe make a little bit of a run. So
I will, man. Definitely. You too, because I'll be very excited about that.
Creating some magic right here. It's Darius Rucker on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Thank you, Darius.
Take care.
You too. Darius Rucker. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. That was awesome. You know, what's kind of funny, too, downstairs, they'll play his music, obviously, on Hank. I know Hank has a great relationship with him, but his folks said, hey, he wants to call in, talk a little bit of sports, obviously talk up the August 17th date at Ruoff, and I jumped all over it. He's an interesting conversation and a really good guy. Touched the top of the RCA Dome back in the day, and that was the day when there were probably as many Dolphin and Marino fans in the building as there were Colts fans in the building. Remember those days? And we're sure as hell glad that era is gone. Darius Rucker on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. This has been a busy day. I'll break it down for you, get back to the latest on the Colts, luck, ticket giveaways, and more on a Tuesday. We're back with you next.
Sports with Dan Dockage.
Pat McAfee, congratulations. Thursday night, as I said, just got better on ESPN.
I was planning on going back to the NFL all the way up until a couple weeks ago, and my knee just started to balloon up. And it was a nice moment of closure for me where this Thursday Night Football thing is just the tip of the iceberg. I am pumped and excited about it, and I can't wait to get in the booth, and I'm very grateful for ESPN allowing me the opportunity to do so.
Dan Tuckett, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Win tickets to Knockfest Roadshow featuring Slipknot at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center August 16th. Details 1075thefan.com.
For the extraordinary Hoosiers who grow our food, feed our minds, make us safe, and keep us free. An extraordinary celebration. Your Indiana State Fair salutes Heroes in the Heartland. Presented by Indiana Donor Network. Get discount tickets till August 1st at indianastatefair.com. Heroes in the Heartland. Your Indiana State Fair. August 2nd through 18th.
What's the key to a stress-free summer? 3 words. New air conditioner. Hi, I'm Corey Kreitzberger from 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. At 1 Hour, we'll guide you to the right air conditioner for your home. And back it with 3 more words. 10-year warranty. Buy a new system now and get a free 10-year parts and labor warranty. Call 844-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Excludes basic systems. Terms and conditions apply. License number 800106668.
You thought the beef and cheddar couldn't get any more delicious. And then Arby's added bacon to it. And you thought, oh, okay, but it can't get any better than that. And then Arby's made them 2 for $6. And then you thought, okay, but no, it can't get any better than that. And you were right. The bacon, beef, and cheddar, 2 for $6. Arby's, we have the meats.
At participating Arby's for a limited time.
Back. And Cage the Elephant. Live in concert. This Sunday at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. With very special guest, Spoon, and Wild Bell. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Back and Cage the Elephant. All the hits for one night only. Check more at back.com and cagetheelephant.com. Part of the Coors Light Concert Series.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
You like Huey Lewis on the news?
FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Oh, I enjoy. 5 o'clock hour was good. Darius Rucker, Hootie and the Blowfish, then Banagoo of the Colts. We'll put a podcast up, 1075thefan.com right now. Do some more calls if you guys need it. Regarding luck, I'll revisit that. My man Kay Lee is in studio getting ready for trackside, putting on a sweatshirt because he claims it's way too cold in here when it feels really good. Dan Orlovsky of ESPN tomorrow. Bowen tomorrow. Phil Steele, college football preview guru, Thursday. Tucker Barnhart. And Tucker Barnhart will talk about going through some crap this year. It's on Thursday. I think Tucker's going to join us before they play down in Atlanta. So rest of the week is looking really good too. Now, for those of you that are looking for me at a Colts camp, I'm not going to be up in Westfield. And this is one from Matt. My man Matt Deck of Westfield and the mayor of Westfield, Mayor Cook. I'm not going to be up there until, what is it, Monday and Tuesday of next week? Monday next week? I think it's Monday and Tuesday, right? Monday and Tuesday of next week. So that's when we got to hit up a couple of places there. So it's Monday and Tuesday of next week. I may end up going out there on Saturday too, just because I want to see what ends up happening with Luck, if Luck does come back or not. And hopefully he does and calms everything down, or calms down the popular opinion right now, which there's something wrong. And I've said this earlier too. It is never good when you got a guy that's injured, he's going to be your guy. And I know that you're saying, well, he doesn't need reps. The other guys do. He hasn't really done anything since that January game at Arrowhead, so there are certainly, to me, issues there. But as I told you at the beginning of the show, I've been told not to sweat it, not to go off the deep end because you're going to look back on it and feel foolish. I've been told that everything is okay. Now, I've also been told this. JMV, KD's Achilles was called a calf to begin with. Just saying. That's not going to calm anybody down. But 40 days away, I am going to take the we shall see approach. But would I like to see him, without pain by Saturday? Yeah, I would. So maybe up there on Saturday. And if I'm not up there on Saturday, I may end up doing 9 until noon, a little JMV takeover down the hall here at B105.7. I think they're doing an Indiana music weekend or something. Kevin Lee's in studio.
What is going on downtown? Why did it take me 45 minutes to go the last half mile from White River Parkway?
Well, your guess is as good as mine.
I need to know what's happening before I make these ventures downtown, because next time we will be doing the show from my back porch.
Is it because
is there a concert at the Field House?
What's going on?
So
is there something going on downtown?
East from the west side. When you get close to the zoo, near the ballpark, it just stopped, and I sat there for 40 minutes. Awful.
I think normally right now, is it not just a change in traffic pattern because so many
No, this is the time I've been coming in most of the time. I drop my daughter off, and I usually roll through.
But there are so many different I-70 and so many places that are closed. I think more roads now are getting a higher volume than usual.
Maybe.
That wouldn't be it?
Cardi B is in concert at the Fieldhouse tonight, too.
Who?
Cardi B.
The rapper.
What did they do?
She's a rapper. She is a rapper.
Oh, and I missed out?
Hey, Kevin, you didn't watch the AVN Awards when she was the headliner?
The who?
The AVN Awards.
What's the AVN?
The porn awards.
Okay.
You didn't watch those?
No, but I'm quite certain you did.
Oh, hell yeah, I did. She was the headliner for the porn awards.
Really?
Yeah.
And she's like a mainstream artist?
Is there anything? I don't know if I can play anything Cardi B wise. Can you play anything over there that's clean? Is all her stuff dirty?
I'm okay if you don't,
because it was kind of.
It might be tough to find.
It was a little bit salty during the AVNs.
Yeah,
and she just did a move, just kind of like you just did too. It was weird. Exactly.
Unwrinkling the sweatshirt.
Oh yeah,
it's like 58 degrees in here.
Cardi B. Yeah. I didn't know that Cardi B was downtown at the Fieldhouse
So
tonight.
I need to be aware of local events to plan my travel.
Is anybody going to see Cardi B tonight on their way? Because it really screwed up the drive-in for Kevin Lee. It did.
And anyone else going downtown is probably thinking the same thing. I thought, man, what is it? Fireworks night at the Indians game? That was my first thought. Well, this is an early arriving crowd.
Hey, listen, she had me at headlining the AVN
and I don't know
Awards.
if there's an Indians game tonight.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, good weekend for you guys. Fantastic broadcast, sir.
Yeah, it was a fun race. The road course race in Mid-Ohio has turned into one of the best of the season in the last few years. A lot of times road races are great until the last pit stop, and then it's, all right, nothing else going to happen, and the last 20 laps are a snoozer, and we thought that's where it was headed. You know, at one point, Townsend and Paul and I looking at each other, what are we going to do next? Because Dixon's up by 10 seconds, and then all of a sudden the tires started to go off, and it was a battle with lap cars involved.
Felix, I like Felix, man. He's lucky he did not wreck Scott Dixon. I would.
Well, Dixon actually was kind of taking the blame and apologizing
because he
afterwards.
was blocking.
Because he ran wide and opened the door, and as he said, I think Felix said, I thought he was letting me by.
Yeah.
So he didn't lose too much more ground and can finish second. And then I think Dixon changed his mind at the last minute and said, I'm going to go ahead and keep the lead here.
I
really,
like Felix.
If Rosenquist would have just waited one more corner, the best passing zone is right after turn 2 where he tried to make the move. He would have gotten him. And maybe that was part of Dixon's thought, that I'll tempt him into this. I'll close the door, take away his momentum, and keep him from getting me down in turn 4.
So you had that, and then you had Newgarden made the mistake there at the end and wrecked it in the kitty litter. That was interesting.
So now the championship is probably, as always, going to be headed to the last race. There are 4 races to go. Dixon is 4th, 62 back. Rossi is right there within striking range. And then you've got all kinds of stuff going on with contracts. Rossi re-signs with Andretti. Where's Colton Herta going to go? McLaren has interest in coming back. There's a lot of good things happening right now.
Hey, my son wants to race. He saw Chase Briscoe win this weekend.
Tell him no.
He wants to race, and I want you, if he's listening right now, to explain monetarily what this may entail. I've tried to tell it to him.
So get on the tee.
Yeah.
Tee, whether it be golf, baseball, whatever. Learn how to do something where if you're the best, you will get to play. So it's
right. Because it's not that way.
It's not that way in motorsport. It takes a lot of funding. And then plus there are just more things out of your control, I think. Maybe that's not true. That applies to baseball too. You can hit a rocket right at the shortstop, and it's the same as a strikeout. But there are a lot of positives that I would recommend, but it is not for the faint of heart or for the faint of budget. You got to get lucky. You got to find the right person that's willing to help you, that has disposable income. And if you know any, send them my way.
Does anybody out there have disposable income that you can throw at one Jackson Lee,
would you like a sticker
driver?
On the car? So it's official now. He's in the Team USA scholarship, which is a really cool deal. So he's going to be competing for a free ride, which we like. They'll have 2 young American kids that will go to England in October and race in a couple of very prestigious events at Brands Hatch and Silverstone, where the Formula One race is. So that is a huge deal. Guys like Newgarden and Connor Daly and Jimmy Vasser and Spencer Pigot and A.J. Allmendinger have won this award. The kids that win this award most of the time make it.
Dude, he's going to race in the 500 one of these days.
We got a lot of work to do, and I'm just beginning the process. And see, here's the thing. But I'm not a salesman, and that's the challenge. I don't like selling, but I'm trying to learn how to do that.
Have you made the transition, though, thought process-wise, to where it's no longer just an incredible stratospheric hope that it might be something within reach? I mean, is that...
Well, it starts
I think that's
with
awesome.
You're wasting your time if the driver isn't good enough. And I'm not saying that he's good enough. It remains to be seen, but he's at least good enough now that he's gotten into cars where people are really taking an interest. He's winning races in formula cars. He's attracting interest, and that is helping the process out, but it's each step. So you have to then win at the next level, because yes, we joke about you need to know somebody with financing, but you also have to be able to win. Otherwise, you're just wasting someone's money, because, you can keep running for a while, but
like
eventually... No, Paul's got some talent.
I know he does.
But
Paul
obviously,
Menard,
that's the difference maker that separates him from a lot of other people. He had enough talent.
We would have never seen Paul Menard if not for his last name.
Probably so. He's not someone that just jumped out at you that said, this is someone that we have to help. But he was obviously good enough, and you put him in good equipment, and he's been able to get the job done.
One of these days, Jackson Lee is going to be on with me before the 500.
Oh, I'm going to tell him to stay away.
One of these days. Would you let him
really tell him to watch out for Big Joe? No, Big Joe's our man. We'll take care of Big Joe, and we'll help him sell underwear like he had us doing this year.
And he'll be
he found us with a camera.
He'll be hosting the fastest rookie lunch or something, and bring up Jackson Lee as a part of that one of these days. What do you guys got on the show later on tonight? The other thing that my kid wants, if anybody out there, if you got a McLaren, that's what my kid wants, a McLaren. And McLaren's made news this week, right?
The kid wants a McLaren.
He does.
So that McLaren could fund our next 2 years of racing.
I know it can.
Yes.
I know.
So
he wants a McLaren. Nice. I tried to tell him that he's probably going to not get a McLaren. But.
No, probably not. No, we'll talk about the Mid-Ohio race and silly season and all the other things going on. A lot of good stuff happening.
You're awesome, man.
Thank you.
The best of Jackson Lee. If anybody wants to get behind Jackson Lee, I know where to send you.
Sports car racing this weekend from Mid-Ohio. No, I'm sorry, from Road America. So that's where I'm going this weekend. So that's on, I think we're on Sunday night, tape delayed right after the NASCAR Cup race. So tune in for that.
Thank you, Kaylee.
Thank you.
Trackside, 7 o'clock tonight. Ben Bannigu of the Colts, Zach Kiefer of the Athletic, Greg Rakestraw of Everywhere, and Darius Rucker of Hootie and the Blowfish. Podcast. 1075thefan.com. Number 7-239-1070. Alice in Chains and Corn tickets for those of you that are hanging out. Somebody's going to go to that great show absolutely free. Dan Orlovsky, Kevin Bowen, and a great show coming at you tomorrow at 3. Have a great night.
Sports with Dan Dockett.
Pat McAfee joins. All right, what would happen first? I go to Coach Knight's for dinner, or you go hang out with Ryan Grigson, have dinner and drinks. Would you ever do that?
I think I've gotten to a stage in my life where kind of like a bygone beat bygone. I would enjoy having a drink with Ryan Grigson, I believe, so we could chit-chat about some misunderstandings, mostly on his side. I think it would be a cool conversation.
Dan Dockett, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Hey, it's Dan Doggett here for Steffi Hadaway Insurance. Did you know that life insurance is the best way to give tax-free money to family and friends? It's the best way to give it to your favorite charities, nonprofit organizations, or your high school or college alma mater. Don't put off buying life insurance protection for another day. Give Mike Steffi and his team at Steffi Hadaway Insurance a call, 317-334-3743 today, or shiagency.com, and tell them Dan Dockett sent you.
As a small business owner, when was the last time you considered switching internet providers?
I don't even remember. Running a business keeps me pretty busy.
Let's compare your current provider to Comcast Business. Are you getting fast, reliable internet?
Sometimes.
How about a full suite of innovative services like separate Wi-Fi networks, 4G wireless backup, and advanced voice solutions?
I highly doubt it.
Sounds like Comcast Business could give you